working
in
with,
progress.
good for you.
Thank
About working with Eric, the board working with Eric to kind of come up with a transition plan, but being that Eric's kind of fluid and we're trying to actually come up with a strategy to change his wife's mind. That might be the first.
That might be
Like
easier
moving
than
the
trying to sell it out.
elk around the house and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah,
Well, she already takes care of mom, right?
yeah.
That's enough parents to care for.
Is she here? Her mother, is she
Okay.
back in-
So,
Alright.
let's look at our income for the month.
All right. Since I created this thing again, we're just gonna stick with the dashboard. We'll start with the dashboard anyway. This would be cool, but if we still had that projector. I could put-
Dashboard is this.
Yeah,
I put it back there, finally, I'm too far
You can
back.
tell it's got red lines on it, or red stuff on it.
It's just a spreadsheet. I like that you shrunk it down.
There it is. Okay, so the figures on the dashboard are substantiated by the other documents or financial statements in your package, those being the budget versus actuals, the profit and loss statement, the expenses by vendor summary, the payroll summary, and the income summary. So our water sales for the month of October were $50,870.52. Our expenses for the month of October were $37,187.88. We brought forward a net income of $3,547. And once we remove our monthly deposit to the fixed general expenses fund, our net income will be at $6,230. So basically what we have here is, if we look at our bills for the month, were $37,187. When I look through there, we have payroll of $10,787. Nothing else really outstanding. Nothing really, like last month was really bad because we had to catch up on PERS. And I believe I had mentioned that we thought our payroll person was doing it and she thought we were doing it. So we had a year's worth of PERS to catch up on. So last month we had $28,000 check to PERS.
Oopsie.
Yeah, oops. So, but we're all on track now. Julie is handling it and she's doing a stellar job.
Okay, next I want to look at both the expenses and the payroll because we have to approve both of those. Please.
I'm trying to find payroll.
Oh, I have
There's a
payroll
couple
right
things
behind
I-
my expenses.
Still a couple things I
I put them in order usually for how. we
Yeah.
come up on it.
now note on the expenses by vendor, it shows that payroll of $10,797. But when you get your QuickBook report for payroll expenses, it's only $7,451. The balance of that is taxes, pension,
Which is a
state,
different
all
account
that
now.
stuff.
Right.
So our people received $7,451. And I
Okay.
would make a motion to approve the payroll for the month of October.
I'll second.
All in favor?
A
Okay, there's the expenses.
couple other things I need
That
to
was
touch on
payroll.
here.
Oh, okay,
She just did payroll, so that's okay.
we will.
I'm having we have the draft of the audit in. And I made some glaring mistakes. We have so many building funds. We had a work in progress, we had a capital outlay, and we had a building fund. And when I did the adjustments, I used the wrong account. So Stephanie and I have decided we're gonna rename these accounts
Mhm.
and we're gonna nail it down
Okay,
because there's just too much weird crap. The other thing is that when we purchased the lot, that had to come out of the system improvement fund. Because
It
under
is
law,
improvement.
that was the only fund
Right.
that we could take to use to purchase the lot with. So in effect, when you go back to the dashboard here, when you look at, you see the system development for the system improvement fund. Now it says it has 98,593 in there.
Mhm,
It's actually only $37,000 that's left in that account after the purchasing.
mhm.
There's also some other things when we finished up the, everything that went, because it took so long for us to get anybody out here. You know, the railing, the parking
Right.
lot, all that stuff. We have like a $50,000 overage on
Mhm.
our original new building fund.
Okay,
So what we've had to do with that is I have to do some more adjustments, but I'm gonna get with the accountant, we're gonna do them together. And we have to capitalize that. We do that and it offsets income because then you can do depreciation
mhm,
and that offsets your income. So that was way more than what I ever had in my 2 years of accounting in college. So, I mean, it's above, I know what capitalizes, but I'm not sure how to do the figures. So her and I are meeting next week, so hopefully for the November meeting,
mhm.
the
December meeting.
December meeting for the month of November,
Uh-huh.
but I'll have the final figures
Okay,
on our audit. The only thing that really is different is the system improvement only has $37,000 in it. The irony of it is we have more than that in it. We have $557,000 in the bank in our money market account. So
mhm,
that's where she and I are gonna try to straighten all this out. We use retained earnings
right,
and we'll allocate the right balances once I get the capital outlay straightened out with the building fund and a work in progress and then I have to
building
fix.
fund one, building fund
I
two,
know, I
building
couldn't believe
fund.
it. There's so many freaking building funds.
Yeah.
And then I created one for the pole barn. We're gonna call that the pole barn building fund.
Okay,
And I'm not sure if I created it as expense account. So everything that we do for that, we have to charge as an expense. Anyway, and then we capitalize that expense and then it comes off the income and she's gonna make a CPA out of me yet. So anyway, these figures are just a little bit fluid right now,
mhm,
but not as much as you would think. Because I said all the money, we have so much money in the bank.
mhm.
I just have to figure out with her how to properly allocate it using
Yeah, that's
retained
fine.
earnings. Okay, so the other,
Can I ask you a question?
you
Jeff?
betcha,
On that 537,000 that we have in
557.
57, okay, it's 20,000. Can we invest that? I mean, can we buy like CDs? Because the interest rates now are,
We have,
you can get,
we have the option, we have all that with Umpqua Bank.
Yeah,
And
we
what
have some
Trudy's
money in CDs.
asked me, why don't we have it in the state pool? Because the fire department, we have our money
Mhm,
in the state pool and we make significantly more interest
mhm.
on it than we do at Umpqua Bank. They only pay, gosh, not even 1%.
yeah, they're nothing.
It's pitiful.
Right.
So to do that, it's a very cool thing. Yes, we can't take it ourselves and invest it. Okay, we have to be in a secure, because it's not our money,
Right.
we have to be in a
The
secure,
fire department is into that pool because taxes go directly to the pool.
right.
And that's, the fire department is a tax base. We're not a tax base.
So I don't know if we could.
Exactly.
I could check with them and see if we can. One of the concerns about that is whenever they need money, they have to call the pool
Right.
and organize, arrange a deposit
Back into the fire
Right.
department's account.
Right.
back into.
So
into
what
the
type of
checking
money are they
account.
getting? I mean,
Well,
type
why
of
put
interest?
all of it? Why not part?
We could put part of it in.
Yeah, yeah,
And keep-
exactly. Yeah, or diversify. And you can do different linked CDs.
If we
you
can do
want.
that, because we're not a tax base.
Yes,
Right. I would
So
But
say
we're
we
also, but we are a
probably can
nonprofit.
CD.
yeah.
I'm not sure about the SBA or the
we could
pool.
be with the system development fund because there's state law that governs that fund.
Right.
And that might get us in. I'll have to find out who our contact is and call them. The contact for the fire department, call them to see if we can do that.
When
But
we
that
should
would
have
be a
info.
great way to do it, make a little extra cash. Because our interest, oh my God, I have those figures, but I'm gonna present them when I present the audit.
Mhm.
But gosh, $53 or
Mhm.
something, and we have $557,000.
The
It's
bank
like
is
one
one
hundred.
hundred.
It's like 1/100%.
It's like $3 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pitiful. So, yeah. That's an excellent idea, by the way. Also,
Stephanie should be able to help us, and then,
Mhm.
of course,
Wendy over at the fire department, who's actually dealing with it day in and day
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so the
so
pool,
we
could you tell
put-
me a little more about the pool you just mentioned?
well,
It's-
tax bases, you could either have your taxes go directly to you, but it takes like 3 months to get to you when your taxes come in.
Uh,
Or since they go into the assessors they go into the assessor's office and the assessor deals directly with the state, all monies go into the state.
Right.
It's right there.
Okay,
It's automatically right there and earns interest. And then all you have to do is you have to call them and give them the 2 passwords and boom, you get the money sent to your account. No money changes hands. It's like one of those direct deposit things.
okay,
but they have to do
but we
it.
don't have a tax, we don't have a tax avenue.
No, but we have an account that is mandated by the state that's only used for certain things.
Right.
And because it is a capital fund, it's an equity fund. But because it's for capital expense only, we might be able to,
Mhm.
invest that at least in there. Fixed general expenses fund, I'm not sure we could go there. We should go there with that.
Right.
We need to retain some fluidity
Yes.
and ability to maneuver some things around if we need to.
We have a break in a line somewhere. We need cash tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm not
'Cause we
talking, I
can't
like
get it
Joe said,
tonight.
I'm not talking about all.
Yeah,
of them.
I'm all for putting the
Yeah.
system development fund in the state fund.
Yep.
Because until we have another major project like the well, for example, we get $250,000 to do that. If that's not enough, we can
Mhm.
draw from the system development fund to finish that project. So,
There can be a note on
the
new
other,
business. There's an audit that is pending, and then there's also been a review to see if we can put money into the states, forgot what the thing is called.
it's an investment fund,
Yeah.
state investment, the state pool.
State funding pool, whatever it is.
And they're doing pretty well, percent wise.
Better than Umpqua Bank is.
Wow.
Now, I love Becky, but we should be making more than $3 a month on $557,000.
Well, it should be going up pretty soon anyway.
Right, because the rates
They
are
just
going up.
changed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everything.
And the bank doesn't offer anything else?
Well, if you can do a certificate of deposit, I had a really good one with Chase.
Mhm.
I stuck like, I don't know, $85,000 and I made like $900 in 6 months or something like that.
Mhm.
But, I don't know
Yeah.
what they're doing now. The only
Always
other
can
thing
ask.
that I want to bring, the new building fund down there, I have to make sure that I set it up as an expense account and not an equity fund.
Yes.
God almighty, trying to keep all those straight. Anyway, it no longer has $40,000 in it because we sent a check to, it has $13,000.
Right.
But we reimburse ourselves from the money market. fund.
Right, right.
And I did the correcting journal entry to show that, did you?
For the 27.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I corrected
the.
yeah.
Okay, so we approved expenses and payroll. I've got those signed and in.
We didn't do expenses.
Okay,
Yeah, we did.
So we did.
well, we did the
Yeah,
payroll.
we-
We did
We
payroll.
did payroll.
Oh, I thought we did expenses first.
I thought we just
No,
looked
we
down
were
that.
supposed to do it first, but it was.
But that's
actually
all right.
payroll.
Well, I make a motion to approve the expenses as presented. We did go over them, we just didn't have a motion to.
Right,
I'll second it.
okay,
There we go.
different second. All in favor, aye?
Aye. I would also move to transfer $11,000 from our checkbook to the fixed general expenses fund.
I'll second that.
Okay, Dave. Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
That's almost like a D reviewer that we're, roll that one. The bills in the docket, you already have the
Already
package
signed?
already
Yes.
ready to go, good. There wasn't anything big in that, I saw by the expense sheet, so. All right, old business, county roads, okay, I never have been able to talk to Richard yet about handing him that blue dot program.
He's a busy man.
The fire department signed it, the water department signed it, so we can get together on doing it. Unless, of course, he decides he wants to do it, but that's okay too. He just has to give us, which way he would like us to do it. Because in the letter I said, we're more than happy to buy the materials and install it all. And it's only on county roads that are paved. It won't be on any of the dirt roads that we have hydrants on. Such as, what's that one up there? Cypress. Is it Cypress? You go up and make the left-hand turn. There's a hydrant down there.
Weren't
Couple
we-
other places.
Weren't we just gonna take a length of PVC and wrap it in blue reflective?
Yeah, we
tape?
can do something like
You do
that.
that.
Yeah, and I've got a bunch of reflective tape in the.
There you go.
pump
That's
house.
perfect.
We'll just wrap it all up on the hydrants.
There you go. Okay, grant for the master plan. Okay, just gave Julie back all the paperwork on that. We got our last check. We're completely done. And in here, and I'll give her the letter that says, yay, thank you, Omni Domini, you've been blessed, and everything came out good. We liked it, and
I need an email to.
in
with
fact,
those
there it
amounts
is,
and
right
stuff.
there.
I need an email with the amounts so I can enter them into books.
Okay, one way or another, they should be in,
Even though this started a couple years ago.
yes,
You're gonna have to show it as grant income for this year.
yeah,
So any money that comes in for grants, I need to know, because I gotta create a special account for the 250,000 allocated for the different projects.
correct. And this allocated for the master plan.
Right,
Do you want this though?
no, I want an email with it total in it.
Oh, okay,
I don't wanna keep this because
okay.
That should go in the file.
I'll put that
Oh,
with that
I gave you
file.
that one package of materials too.
Actually, I would
So
take a
if you don't
copy
wanna
of
keep
that.
any of that, but that should go in there also.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
take a copy of it. That's my niece just fine because they have the amounts and stuff in
No, it just talks about,
it. Okay, I just need to know what the amounts are.
Yeah.
So copy that with the amount.
okay, Dave, the county,
Oh, county, yeah. So we're gonna call that money from the state, the legislative money, a grant. I guess it's as good as anything.
okay,
Well,
Yeah.
except it's broken into projects.
Yes, yeah, I know, but the overall money.
we'll
that's okay.
see, we'll see about
But
it.
okay, it's not, you gotta figure out how to put it. I don't envision that we would be getting any other sort of grant money in the remaining of this year. Because it's a process, but it reminded me that something I didn't do. Because this has been, I kind of got distracted with a bunch of shit this
Well,
year.
your arm. duh.
Yeah, and there's other things besides that, but nevertheless, I was gonna set up a meeting, the ones, they call it one-stop meeting with the state that includes, well, bunch of people, but it's mostly through Biz Oregon
Right.
and their local reps. And they kind of go through all the funding mechanisms that are available to us that they're aware of. I don't think they cover like stuff like FDA, federal dollars, they have to do that on their own. But they might know something about it, even though they haven't told me much, even when I've asked them. But I think that's something I should try to do this winter.
Okay,
Because hopefully we won't have any more of these big catastrophes to keep everybody so busy. But, and it's not the summer season, so I'll try to see if we can organize that. And I think it would be of interest to, well, it would be to me, and I think some of the other board members as well, as of course, there. I was talking about setting up that one-stop meeting with the state about the different
Connie?
funding, yeah,
Okay,
either Connie or
Yeah.
a working person.
yeah.
yeah, and it would be good to have a board member or a couple.
Oh,
board members.
we'll have, try to get it, so.
Yeah.
Set up, so I'll make that note to
Okay.
get going on that again,
One stop, that's what it is.
yes,
Mhm. They do a lot of those kinds of things.
yeah, I am, the program that he mentioned, the EPA, I'm totally unaware of it.
Now, there's
Never even
also
heard it.
one from Ford that's out there.
Oh, yeah,
Now,
there's a
they've
bunch-
changed
yeah.
their things. Ford used to do recreation and happiness and joy stuff. Now they're getting into septic and things like that, so.
Well, we saw my wife is really good with grants, since she spends a lot of her time, and she's really good at getting them too, and as of last month, she's no longer president of the community center, but she's doing like you, Jackie, trying to get the books in order, because the people that came in, they gotta be trained. So she's still there a couple days a week, but anyway, so, I don't really have any more information about the, ARP funds, except yesterday I had to go to Brookings and spend a whole day waiting while they put a new windshield in our Subaru. So I took the opportunity to walk down and talk to, it was right down in Harbor. So I went to the Harbor Sanitation, because I thought it was Harbor Water and Sewer that applied,
Mhm.
but it wasn't. But I did meet the manager, and we had a nice long discussion about lack of support from the county commissioners, and in fact interference and not so helpful interactions, like Boyce coming to one of the board meetings and arguing for one of his buddies not to be charged a connection fee. You know, the board told him basically take a hike in a nice way, but that'd be like him coming to
I
one of
would-
our
I
board
would
meetings.
call
We don't
that-
want to, I have
Get
a
it
friend in Indian Hills. Please don't charge him the
Yeah.
hookup fee.
Yeah.
Anyway, but we got to talking about a bunch of different things. It wasn't them that applied for the ARP money. But it seems like almost all of our little special districts, and they have taxing authority, which not using yet. There's a whole bunch of little special districts and they're not getting any support from the county. You know, they ask for help and there's no one at the county to help them or no one will help them with different things.
Right.
And so I talked to her for quite a while, and then I walked up to the Harbor Water Office and talked with Amy, the lady who's the manager there. And they've got some big projects planned. They're gonna be needing a lot of money because they have a collection system. It's kind of rainy collection system. It's basically a big headwork system, and then underneath the river, it's a network of pipes that collects the water, the water goes down through the gravel substrate in the river and
goes
it collects Arcata has the same system,
Cool.
but they're gonna have to I'm not sure if they're replacing it or maintaining it or what, but because that's a big project that they're getting money for. We talked a while about them too and about the lack of support, you know, and they're also an SDAO member.
Mhm.
And so we said, you know, it'd be nice to have, and I actually presented this to Boyce as a suggestion, and he said, oh, let's talk about that. We never got back to me. It was basically having a loose organization of all of our special districts in the county.
That's what SDAO is for.
Yeah, but
Yeah, they don't go to the.
but they
council
don't
meetings.
deal with the county per se. You know, I like SDAO. I mean, I've gone to them for a bunch of things and they've always been really helpful
Mhm.
and quickly responsive.
Right.
So they're great, but with regard to being in a special district in Curry County,
You're out of luck.
you're kind of screwed in terms of getting support from our commissioners. You just don't get any
They
response.
each have their own agenda.
Oh, yeah. But you know, all these special districts represent the essential infrastructure.
Mhm.
They
You know,
also
wastewater,
represent
drinking
the
water.
population,
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
every one of these is ruled by a board of directors, elected by the people in the districts they live in.
and most of them are volunteers like us.
Yeah,
Mhm.
nobody's paid.
I don't think so. Not in this little ones.
We're just the redheaded stepchild over here.
Yeah, well, Amy took the job at the Harbor Water a couple of years ago. But she didn't have the experience. She doesn't do field work. They're big enough that they have a
Quite a
supervisor,
team,
a foreman. They have a foreman that does what Eric does, and then she handles the office. And I said, well,
Nice.
yeah, nice for them, but it's not, I don't see that in our future.
We don't
Not-
have
not
a budget
immediately.
for it.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Nothing, but it was interesting to.
It would
talk
be
to him.
good to have the budget for it.
But anyway, it was nice talking to him because we got an invitation for free training. Staff, when I passed it on to Eric.
For what?
They're gonna do confined space, bloodborne pathogens, what to do
That's
if you-
mandatory.
when you're in an accident, just good stuff that we
Good
should.
safety
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, good.
We had to
Yes.
do that too.
So anyway, I don't
I'll
have
sign the
any
check.
more. I think the
Yeah.
county still hasn't obligated all the ARP funds, and what I
I
don't
thought it all
know,
went to the sheriff's department.
a bunch of it did,
Yeah.
almost over 2 million of it.
It'd be nice if they paid back the road department.
Should, yeah.
That's never gonna happen.
No, but there might be more money that might come in. I think maybe the last installment from the feds, and I don't know. I know Don's talked to Boyce, and I have a. Yeah,
I
I
can
know.
find out
Did I
how
say
much
that?
is available in ARP funds,
Well, what's coming, what they have now and what's.
what is
now.
coming.
Yeah.
I could find that out for you
Yeah,
if you want me
Please.
to.
yeah,
It'd be nice to
Okay.
mention to our board of commissioners how disenchanted their constituents are.
well, it's, at least to the two districts, I talked to another one up north, but that I've talked to, that they would really, they feel like there's no support
Mhm.
at all.
No representation.
No representation, and you're like, so we provide water to approximately 10% of the population of the county.
Mhm.
You know, that's pretty important. And, you know, when we have outages like we had last month,
Yeah, then everybody.
a month ago
cares.
tonight.
Then everybody cared.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, then everybody's, because, we all take things we get for granted.
Yep.
And
Oh.
until you don't have them.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah,
I tell the guys, I say, water's a lot like air, and it's only important when you're not getting any.
Yeah,
Or when you have to like, my friends in Ashland who get warning, say it's not safe to go outside when the summer smoke. You
yeah.
know, Then they know, they appreciate it.
I went home that night and I was so smug thinking I could take a shower in the morning. I got up, not a drop. And I went,
Oh.
Yeah, oopsie.
I thought it was rather ironic to leave our meeting and drive through the flood.
Yeah.
Are we gonna talk about that on the
Yeah,
agenda?
Yeah, that's a good one to
Yeah.
learn what's going on. We learned, I think, a bunch.
we
So
learned a lot.
That's,
So Joe,
like
if you
number
could
6.
find out more, you sound
I
like you
can
have
find
some
out.
connections.
I can find out what's available, what still has not been given out or committed.
And if, so you might want to tell your connection, whether it's the treasurer or one of the board members, they have yet to provide us a formal notification about our official application that they requested. And that's true for all the districts, or all the
Everybody.
applicants. That's
And-
totally unprofessional.
I can look into it. I'll find out what's available. And then, if, my opinion is that you get on the agenda or you have a workshop and it's addressed at that level, and I might be able to help in that level.
My thoughts on that are it's time for good people to run for office.
I know.
Yes, yes.
I don't
agree.
care about the party, just someone who's got a sense for budget, a
Yeah.
sense of community needs,
Exactly.
wanting support for the districts.
It
That
doesn't
type, all
want
those
to
things.
just blow smoke up their friends' butts
Mhm.
Yeah,
and stuff like that and go to meetings to see if somebody will waive a fee for a buddy affair.
Is
I
there
would
any
call that
reason,
intimidation.
is there any reason why we only have 3 commissioners?
Yeah,
Past practice.
It seems to me that if you had 5 or something like that, you'd have.
They
much
used to
more
have
diverse.
5.
They're discussing that.
They went
That's-
3,
That is
5,
an
3.
option right now that's being
that
looked
means
at.
that the ones that the 3 that were there have to take less money than.
Oh, shucks.
Shucky darn.
Well, it almost should be for free, except are they in every day? What do they meet once a week?
No, they have offices, they're,
Mhm.
they meet, I think every 2 weeks, they have workshops, in between for certain issues.
Yeah.
But you should be able to go down there any day during the week and catch them,
Chad and Mo?
to the courthouse, to the annex.
And
That's where their offices are.
Right.
yeah, they moved over there and
I would
Into
call
the
and set up
jail.
an appointment.
Yeah, so on that one last point I made to you, Joe, I contacted all the commissioners. I contacted the county council, contacted John, who kind of runs the front office for the commissioners. I left a
Jesuit.
message for Barnes, not one of them responded.
They all know me.
Well, yeah, I know, well, they should know a board member from the Seca Beach Over Water District.
Right,
By
you
now.
should, yeah.
I mean, and
it's not.
when we responded to their request. for
That isn't
applications.
correct. It's the way things are, and it is what it is, but you can overcome it. And we
Thing
will.
is, you do not ignore
Yeah.
boards of
shouldn't.
directors. They're
Yeah, you
not
should.
going to go away.
Mm-mm.
And Don did go to the board meeting and made a
Mhm.
presentation, and they didn't respond. to
I think
him
there's
either.
gonna be changes down there. That you're going to see a difference. That's what I think.
Posh is gone, right? And we have
Mhm.
Alcorn, and Alcorn went.
He's a personal friend of mine. I
Alcorn?
can, yes,
Is he a good
I
guy?
had dinner with him last night.
Okay,
So,
Is he a
I can
decent-
say that he has a different attitude.
He was from Fresno, wasn't he? Did he say 30 years with Fresno PD?
35.
With this.
oh,
He's.
Aye,
on the
aye,
budget
aye.
committee.
One of Jerry Dyer's buddies.
Yes, yes.
And, he's on the budget committee, the chair, city council down at, Brookings. He's a volunteer reserve deputy here in the county. He brought the KP, developed, well, his wife is with the Humane Society.
Oh, the
and so-
K9 unit.
But yes, I think there's going to be some changes, but he's only one of 3.
Right.
So, like you said, other good people need to run. He is a proponent of having 5 council members. I like that because if you had 5, then you could have one from different areas in the,
And that's how it used to be.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, you had
in the
one like from
county.
precinct 8, one from, you know, they had to break it up a little bit so that you
Right.
didn't have 5 people, all from Brookings,
right.
you know, funneling
And there was
everything.
a time when there was only 3, for like 5 years, they were all from Brookings.
And then they all fight.
Yeah,
And I don't like that only 2 people have to agree,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, it's all about money and politics and you know how all of that works.
right.
But I think that he is a proponent of that. I can't speak for Brad, but, he's a good man as far as I'm concerned, and he will listen to you. If you have called him, I think if you could call him right now, and I think he would talk to you, but he isn't a county councilor.
Mhm.
Only elect, I mean, he is winning the election.
Right.
Yeah. I think
But I
that's-
can find out through other resources,
Yeah.
exactly what's available that has not been committed. I can find that out for you.
Well, the one thing that Amy mentioned is they had some issue, and I don't need to get into the details, but the county sent Jennifer Ward. Wasn't that Ward's
That's-
wife?
No, Jennifer Ward is the emergency manager for the county,
Oh, is it? Okay,
who is not affiliated or related.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Well, his wife works there too.
She did.
No, she does not.
Not anymore. I
Not
think
anymore.
they eliminated the county
Yeah, the
health
the health.
positions are gone. Yeah, so she's now,
Okay, yeah.
Is that
well,
OES?
in California, it's OES. Up here, it's Oregon Emergency Management, OEM.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
But it's a
Yeah, but Ward's
county-owned
wife was
position,
help.
but paid for by FEMA.
She did
All
the
right.
whole pandemic thing she did a great candidate for it.
Right.
Okay, that's all I had. Thank you. So, yeah, I'd be curious, give me, if you get a chance to talk or need something,
I'll find out and then I can put an email out.
yeah, just
Okay.
let us
Let you know
know.
what I find out.
And tell
I'll put
them,
it
you
out
know,
to everybody.
At least the folks that I've talked to, all of them are
What?
interested in, you know, we're all members of SDAO, that's the state special district organization. But, you know, something, just a loose organization of districts in the county where we communicate, support each other. You know, if we find out there's money available, you can share it with, you know, and I don't think it costs.
I don't think there's anything
costs-
more important than a water district.
Mhm.
I mean,
Well, I know sewer is important. I mean,
well, fire is important,
Yeah.
police important, education, but I'm not saying anybody's any more important.
no.
All is
So
important.
the point I was trying to get to is if you talk to Brad, you know, just tell him, I made this proposal to Boyce. He said, I don't think it costs anything for the county if we just got some volunteers to organize it every once, you know, a couple of meetings a year, just say what's going on, here's our needs. Have a communication funnel, which there is no communication that's working right now.
Right.
So
Yeah,
that's all.
I think things are changing, so I hope,
Yeah.
hopefully we'll see improvements.
But to get someone in there with a strong enough personality to say, look, this is the right way to do it.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's gonna work with certain people that are in the palace right now.
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
It's like taking a knife into a gunfight.
Never go to a gunfight with me.
Okay, so we have a grant agreement for the water services, doing the well, because we planned out to do the well, et cetera, et
And
cetera. So how are we standing on that?
I got a good update here. This week I was able to make some progress on the well project. We're kind of in staging with the next door building.
Mhm.
We've given him, we've paid him 20% of the total cost. And the 20% is going to get the engineered plans and the permitting. So after he acquires that, then he'll come back and I think we're gonna need to give him 40% at that time.
Okay,
But that's that one. And then with the other project for the new well, I wasn't sure how I was going to appropriate the water rights for the drafting we would do out of that. You know, we would need to have an associated water right with the well that gave us so many CFS per second or per minute or whatever it is. And so I just was kind of cloudy on how we would execute with that. So I had a good conversation with a gentleman named Dante at Water Resources. And I'll read you the important part out of the email. It says, if there is a well that the municipality is drawing from, I would recommend going through a documentation first to see if there is a water right attached to that well. If there is, you can add an additional point of appropriation to that water right, which Sounds pretty
good.
straightforward, yeah. So I hope this information is helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. So sounds like all we're going to need to do is apply for an additional point of appropriation. And it'll be under the same water right we're currently using now. And it's not like we're gonna be drafting anymore. It's just a backup in case we
It's
lose it.
one or the other.
Right.
Yeah.
Same
And
as
you know, and
ours.
we can even do it like that. You know, I've been in a place where we would stagger our wells. So we would run this one for 2 days and then we'd run this one for 2
Exactly.
days.
There you go.
And I think we talked with the state
Redundant
about
system.
perhaps using it in an emergency if we're having to fight a big fire, for example.
Yeah.
Well, you
We
know,
could put more
and
water through the system.
the water right that's associated with that well is huge. It's more water than we could ever even develop to get to.
So we get it, so that water right didn't transfer over to the new well? We have a water right
It
for the,
did. So,
Okay.
so because they were so close, I guess what they did was they took this well tag ID and put that water right with that well tag ID. And so
Okay.
when you look up the old abandoned well tag ID, nothing comes up. It's
Oh.
just, it doesn't show up abandoned, it doesn't show up, it just doesn't show
Also,
up.
they transferred the water right
They
into the new
transferred it
well.
over to the
Yeah.
new one.
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Well,
So,
seems really straightforward then, to
yeah,
just,
yeah.
yeah, makes
I don't know,
sense.
I was a little bit intimidated with.
That's
water resources
frightening
'cause I
because
hadn't
it
gotten any
makes
information.
sense.
Yeah,
Government can't do anything like that.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. So
Yeah.
we might be missing something.
But that's not,
Facetious.
but we can still move forward with the well company to get the well.
oh,
rehab.
yeah, and we can do the construction and we can do everything we wanna do. But we need to have the additional point of appropriation attached to that well ID
Okay.
before we can draft anything into the system. And then, you know, all the sampling and bacteriologicals that will need to
Right.
take place before we can go online with it.
Right.
Right.
Cool.
So
Outstanding.
with regard to getting that well rehabbed, or what have you talked to the company lately?
I haven't, I'm gonna chase them down. I'll get on them this week, the end of this week.
Because we kind of need them to do their thing before, so we can get billed before the end of June. Because that's when the money
Next
runs
year.
out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, before the fiscal year's over.
Yeah, no, I think there's plenty of time there. I think that, I don't think we're gonna hit any time restraints. I mean, we are kind of at their mercy and all the well drillers seem to be really, really busy right now, you know, but we've already done
Lot
work
of
with
new
these
houses.
guys. They already know what our objectives are. We've been, we've had numerous conversations, so
Okay.
where I left off with them was there was an old guy that they had made friends with that had a lot of experience dealing with sandy wells. And they referred me to him and it just kind of went nowhere. I called him, I gave him all the information and I just never heard back from the guy. So I'm just gonna call him up and let him know, hey, you know, we would like to move forward with this and, you know, we've pretty much got all of our ducks in a row. And let's do it, you know, well, let's get at least a bid for
Yep.
what the project's gonna cost and.
All right, because we've got irons in the fire. We need to take them out by June.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
Excellent.
I
well,
like
you
it.
know, and the well's already there. you
Yeah.
know. All we're trying to do is basically screen it out and drop a new pump and motor. It's
Yeah.
not exactly a very.
It's not brain
intense
surgery.
Project, yeah. It's not
Okay,
rocket
good.
science.
So
Outstanding.
I know you told us this and I apologize for asking. So they went in and they basically flushed sand out,
They pumped it, yeah,
pumped it and flushed it. And
yeah,
did they get it, would it stay open?
no,
Oh, so they'll have to go in and put the screen down as they go.
Yeah.
Or casing down of some
or
sort.
screen it and then pump it, I don't know.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, number 5 is the webcam device, which Eric and I diddled with, and Eric got it up and running. So there's your training that's ongoing and
So Eric's
start using it.
our go-to for the
yeah.
owl.
I'll have it
Okay.
set up next, all meetings moving
Okay.
forward.
You're awesome.
I also want to talk to, I'm gonna talk to Denise King about putting it on YouTube.
Okay.
So it'll be available to be on YouTube. So if any customer wants to see our minutes or our meetings, all I gotta do is go to YouTube and they can see our meetings.
Is it gonna be on our website?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna pipe in. I was gonna say maybe
And you can
Julie
put
or
the
I.
link.
can
I don't
also-
know. Well, that's another part of that I'll be asking Julie about later on is this G-Works is taking over and,
They
we
bought-
want to talk about a web tree, a phone dialing, things to clean it all up. And does our new software company take all that? Because if they don't take all that, then we'd have to have our own standalone. I would prefer to have it on our webpage. Much prefer that, because we could probably do a cloud bank and then have all the meetings in the cloud bank. You know, instead of storing them somewhere,
Mhm.
doing something like that, it'd probably be a whole lot easier.
They have a server, yeah,
Yeah,
dedicated server just for
there you
cloud
go.
storage.
And I think we have a cloud storage available to us that we've never used.
We have,
So-
a few terabytes through,
A few
a few
terabytes.
terabytes.
That's a
through,
lot.
Windows, actually.
Right.
All your, like Office 365,
Yep.
I get a terabyte
Oh,
of,
yeah, there you go. So bids for storage, building and construction, so that's still ongoing. We're still good with all that kind of
so we
stuff.
can just.
Do we need
this
to
as a-
bug Stan on a routine basis
as a
to?
placeholder for
I'll
updates.
definitely start bugging him. I don't wanna bug him too much, but, I think once we get to the appropriate timeline, I'll definitely follow up with him. I'm not just gonna let him go.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'd be
Please
nice
don't.
to know that he's actually got plans under development.
Okay,
He was working on something the other day because he called here to get the physical address for that property.
oh, okay.
So he was.
He's probably getting the permit.
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
Good.
So I gave him that over the phone and so that made me feel like at least he was doing something.
UPS still delivered to the fire department for us.
Hmm.
That was all those boxes that I
Yeah.
left Julie the message with, and you know, that you guys went over and took the,
It was the old driver or something.
yeah.
And you know
So I don't know
why?
why he,
You know why I found
probably
out?
because it was raining.
That used to be where we had all our stuff shipped.
Yeah.
When you
'cause
Google
the
our
office was in the back
address,
of the fire department.
Google still has us Google Maps
Uh-huh.
behind the
It
fire hall.
does.
Yeah,
So
'Cause they
I went in and tried to change that at Google Maps. I
Right.
think it worked. So I
Yeah,
haven't,
good.
since I did that and updated, I figured I need to give it some time to change. I
Right.
haven't checked it. I did that one day last
which is
week.
funny because the address is right there. I mean, it's right here and it's right there and
I know,
anyway.
but
Formal address for the people receiving free water.
Did
How
you
is
mail
that?
letter
that
out?
got mailed.
Okay, have you heard anything?
Nope.
No? Well,
When
we'll
did it
wait
mail?
then, we'll see.
When did you mail it?
When did I mail it?
Probably when you did the bills.
No?
I did it
Before that.
sooner than, yeah, because we were
About
talking.
2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's been.
Okay.
2,
And it
3
went out
weeks
to how many,
ago.
like 3 or 4?
2.
Just to,
Mike Mazzaros and Sorensen, Dave
Okay.
Sorensen.
Okay. Oh, and I made it nice and rattled some cages. Poor old Jackie Smothers. I told her, you know, you're the only one. You know, we must really love you a lot. You're the only one that's still getting free water. So I jammed it up a little bit.
That's a
I
pretty.
buttered it. I buttered it. So
Her husband almost died on the job.
he did. Yeah,
Didn't
right
he
on.
die like a day later after he left the job or something?
No, he went in for surgery and then died about a week after that when he came home.
Hmm.
So it was only within like a 3 or 4 week period. So, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, but he was right hand to
Yeah.
Leon for.
Yes, for a long time. He was the only one here for, you know, whenever the other guys would go home, they wouldn't come back for it. They'd call Ronnie up. And Ronnie would come out and see what he could do.
Was it cancer?
No, just a real bad heart. He had like no valves left, went in and had like a 19-way bypass.
okay.
Yeah, he had like a big one. And then, you know, he was gone not too long after that. So, and Jackie went in and was gone, you know, down for a long period of time with divertic, had half of her colon removed and had a bag on her for, you know, so she had hard luck there for a while.
She's a good gal.
Nice lady though.
She's in the second chance of life.
Yep. So, you want cookies, she does some pretty good cookies. Contact your Tawny Bean for the CCDs and stuff like that. That's, we'll go through her office when we start looking for more grants. She sent me the letter saying, you know, if you want more things, let's do this. I have the perfect person in my office for grants and, you know,
Yeah, I think probably,
and that's
It'd be
all
nice-
Biz Oregon, so.
well, I think it would be good. I'll contact her to set up the one stop.
Okay, perfect.
And we'll do that. And then, but I don't know, I mean, right now we kind of have,
We have a lot of.
Eric's,
irons
we
in
got
the
a
fire.
lot on our plate trying to deal with this.
I think we
$250,000.
need to, and I had said this before, let's get through a couple of these projects before we take any more on.
Okay.
So
And
the-
that was leading into the next thing too,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I'm not willing to.
Well, I was just gonna tell people that I got a big old long email about the fire department consolidations.
Yeah, do you think?
And
I think we could.
Jackie and I read,
Got
yeah,
it.
Jackie and I
Really
read
cover to
the
cover.
initial package that came out that they gave us. And it still points back to a contract with Gold Beach Fire Department. So it would be a merger of all the fire departments that are around, but you cannot merger with the city by Oregon law. So, but we could contract back with them. So I'm like, okay, why can't I just direct contract? Why do I have to have a merger with all this crap going on? That's only one question out
Yeah.
of
100.
20.
And if you read through it,
Yeah.
it's like taxes are gonna go up for the people already taxed.
Yeah,
The people that were out of district, or everybody's gonna have to pay more tax.
right.
So that they can get all the equipment, pay all the personnel and all this other stuff. So to me, it looks like a big money dump. And then you have to form a special district for
Yeah.
it, right?
Yep.
And all the stuff that you have to do under ORS, blah, 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 blah. I'm not gonna devote any of my energies to
Mhm.
forming it. People who work, I don't know how they possibly could. Forming that thing would be a full-time job. And I don't see a benefit to our customer base, to people that live out here. We have a good fire department.
Yeah.
We already have mutual aid.
That can be either dropped or modified. Because it's a mutual aid with Gold Beach, and I think this whole thing came from the thinking that the weaker fire departments are dragging Gold Beach down. Okay, because Pistol River and Cedar Valley rarely go to a call anymore. It's almost always Gold Beach.
Hmm.
Because they have so few firefighters and they have older equipment.
And Gold
And you
Beach
guys
is-
all know that the chief of the department is also a plumbing contractor in the county. And he had that bad accident. We still don't know if he's ever gonna walk right,
Hmm.
let alone,
So he can't be.
Is
a
he still
fireman
in the
right now.
hospital?
I don't think he's in the hospital.
So he was over in Eugene, I think.
Yeah, someplace like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So his son is running the business. It's his son, isn't it? That's running
He
the
has
business?
two sons. They
Yeah.
both were involved in his business.
Yeah,
Are we talking Wade?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
They had a
Yeah,
bad
terrible motorcycle wreck.
Oh, I didn't know that, because he came out and worked on our house
Yep, it's a good
with
guy.
his son.
Yeah.
He made his son put on the rain gear and fall.
Yes, but
That's
he will
what
do
That's what
that.
sons are for, right?
That's what
That's right.
sons are for. Okay,
Huh.
so now we're into new business. The
So so
first,
this is all being pushed by Gold Beach for the most part, you think?
yeah, and like I said, I think part of it is because of the mutual aid guidelines, which are if it's a structure fire, all 4 fire departments in the central county area respond. Which, okay, that's the way it should be, but there should also be requirements. What kinds and types and how new the fire apparatus is, everybody wearing the proper apparel, safety apparel,
Right,
everybody trained to a specific level, these
with-
kinds of
and with
things.
the proper breathing apparatus.
Yeah, all
Those
of
are
it.
expensive.
They
Cedar
are.
Valley.
What did we just pay?
$17,000 or something crazy.
Yeah, it's like $9,000 to put one
For one.
package on one person.
That's for the
Hmm.
vest.
And that's not the $2,000 coat and the $1,500 pants and the $400 helmet
Right,
that have to be changed every 10 years.
it's crazy.
So anyway.
And there's,
So no one's mandating that we do this, right?
No, by no means.
So if the fire board decides, no, we don't think there's a benefit in it for us, you guys can just say no, thank you.
Yeah, we can,
Okay.
and that's
Yeah.
pretty much where,
where we
I
stand.
think there may be one that is for it, but I think when it all began, I believe they probably had visions of who was gonna be running it and that sort of thing, and you know, that kind of stuff, and then when it turned out what it was gonna take to actually implement it, and that Gold Beach can't be part of it,
Unless
I
we
think
contract with
it
them.
cooled some jets.
Yeah, okay. So with regard to Cedar Valley, they had the fire out there last month. I know that you went out to,
Yes,
or maybe a month
Respond.
before.
yes, it was
So
actually
did
our
Cedar
district.
Valley, yeah, was it? Oh, was
Uh-huh.
it Cedar Valley's?
No,
Oh.
it was on Cedar Valley Road, but take a rough line, the very, very south end of the golf course is ours and the rest of it is all Cedar
Okay.
Valley's. They were there.
They did, they did.
Cedar
respond.
Valley
That
was
was-
there,
okay.
Coos Forest was there, Gold Beach was there, Pistol River was there, we were there.
Okay, so they did respond to one right in their backyard.
Yes.
Okay.
Which one? I won't.
Okay,
Okay,
all right, thank you.
new business board positions. We are 5.5 months over
No, we're not.
selection.
No, we're not, because it's July.
Yeah,
July was usually when you do.
so do July,
elections.
August, September, October, November. So we're in 5 months over our limit. According to SDAO's interpretation of the ORS's, no person should sit in a position, especially chair. It says especially chair, for longer than 2 terms.
But
Should. Yes, go ahead. Should.
but not can't.
Okay, we'll go there.
There's may,
You want to be chair for a while?
May.
Well, I'm
May.
new, so
Don, you do such
but I
a
think
great
that word
job.
should has a real meaning.
Uh-huh,
If they said may, then that's different, so
right,
everything has meaning.
yeah, it does. Legally, yes.
Yes,
Legally shall means it shall rain. You know, that kind of stuff. It's like, that's the end of the world. You can't bypass that one. But
I
anyway,
can't
it
imagine.
doesn't say shall, it said should not.
I can't imagine anybody's gonna go after us.
I don't think so.
It's not like there's this close scrutiny. We can.
No, but you're gonna be next. You know, we're all gonna jump on your ass and put you in there
No,
next.
no, we had him next, remember?
Good try.
You're being groomed.
No, we already decided on that in July.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I would make a motion that we just retain our current hierarchy.
I'll second it.
Yeah, all in favor?
Well, there you go.
There you go. I
Done.
just got my ass handed to me again.
Is that real?
Yes, you can do it. Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
it is legal, because what we do works for us and it works for our customers, and
Mhm.
we have open communication. Yeah, we're free to express our thoughts, and
If somebody raises an objection down the line, we can deal with it then.
then we make Steve that.
Okay,
then
can
we
I
make
have your
Steve-
wordage again so that this makes sense?
Oh,
That you moved
I
to,
move to retain our current hierarchy,
okay, thank you.
so.
HIRECAMALARKEY.
So we got Chair, Dave's the vice chair,
Yeah.
and I'm the fiscal officer.
Yeah.
If I was the treasurer, I'd get paid.
You are paid.
No, I'm not.
Grand Theft Auto. There you go.
Are you kidding? If I can't even keep my expense versus equity versus capital.
Okay,
There's some
so
building
we
funds.
went through grant agreement, bids for storage, building and stuff, the formal address to people. So now let's turn these over and we'll talk about our issue that we had before we talk about what we have already in that.
Well, I think we
In the
can
fire.
check off end of fire season,
Yes, we
and our
can.
office septic is fixed.
Yep.
So let's,
What was wrong with our septic? Did it
Just a bad flow.
Just a bad flow?
Yeah.
No,
Float,
it was
float.
plugged.
Like
It
a
was plugged.
Gotcha, okay.
It was plugged?
The plugged. We had a big old plug. The
Well, there was
float
a float.
the float was the first thing he thought it was,
Oh,
but then
okay.
he showed up here one day. And I showed him what it was doing, and after you flushed it like 3 times, first part of the day after you would clear it. I would go in, maybe the 3rd time I would use the restroom, flush the toilet, go to the sink, run the water. When the sink water would go down, it would gurgle back up in the toilet. He says, that's a plumbing issue.
yeah,
Okay.
So I told him that's what it was doing, and he went out with a camera
Mm-hmm.
and he looked in there and he could see that there was a plug in the line that was about
I
this
knew you were a
long.
shitty person.
He could see.
No.
How can
Paper
he tell?
towels or?
With the
They were those
camera.
blue shop towels was one thing he saw.
Oh, geez.
And- But anyway, so he cleared it all.
Clinton.
That's why we had the,
Clinton.
that's why we had the,
Who the hell would be
outhouse
flushing blue shop?
We don't even have blue shop towels.
We did at one time.
Unless the roofers brought their own towels when they were doing that
And we're
job
stuffing
that
them
day.
down in the,
I think they were using our
Yeah.
restroom, but I find that hard to believe.
yeah.
I think she was
Interesting.
the only one that used the restroom that day, and I doubt she put a,
Blue
Blue
shop.
towel
I mean, we're trained
Okay.
very well as women. Nothing goes down but the teepee.
That's
Right.
weird.
That's right.
Yes.
Absolutely, especially in a septic system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I don't know,
So did we root it out?
yeah, he's all cleaned out. But
Okay,
he also noticed that, that is a very important line to have as a gravity feed, and it has a little bow in it. at
Ah,
that point.
that's
He
no
thinks
good.
at some point that's gonna need to be fixed, cause it's probably gonna just do it
do it
again.
again, yeah.
Was this Brian that
So-
worked on it?
Mhm.
That's good.
So could we tie it up? Was it flexible enough? We can lift it up so it gets.
But
the
you have to
proper
dig it
slope?
up though.
It has to be dug out and.
Oh, dug up. Oh, it's not just hanging under
It's
the.
underneath, no, it's
Underground.
underneath, it runs from, the back part of the building to out there, so it's
Oh.
underneath all this hard pan rock back there, which wouldn't be an easy dig, but,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, it has an up pump on it, right? So that's supposed.
Well, down
to-
I don't know, I
there,
can't-
it's got the macerator down there, and that
Okay.
pumps it through the field.
uh,
We have a macerator on the system?
No,
Usually it
just a
goes,
pump.
it just goes to the septic tank, then it goes, then we have a mound system. And no, I've never understood our system. Then we have a mound system and then that overflows to a kind of a conventional
There's
leach
a-
field.
So there's a float inside the main septic, and anytime that level hits that float and lifts the float,
Right.
it kicks the pump on and it pushes it through the mound system up to the sand filter.
Yeah,
Other
So
than
how
that,
did-
does it just trickle straight out to the leach field?
I don't know.
I don't, that's
I
what I
always thought a
understand.
mound system was your leach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
thought
we
so
have a
too.
mound and then we have a leach too.
And I don't understand how, because if you put it through the mound system, how do you recollect it and put it to a leach
Yeah,
line?
exactly.
That's what I'm saying. I
I
don't
thought
understand
I
how
thought
the
a sand
system was
filter,
designed.
He explained it's just a sand filter, it just filters through.
Yeah, but we've been
Yeah.
told there's a leach field out there,
There is.
and what's his name went out there and found it.
I found and there's actually a diverter inside of a box that you can switch to one side or the other side.
Oh,
Didn't I send everybody, I think I sent the email.
the plot
It
plan.
had all of that. and It was like
Mhm.
I mean, it was a lot of pages in there. All of the descriptions of it should have all been described in there, wasn't it?
Of course, did we read
I
it?
saw the map.
It was,
which showed
I seen the
leach field.
map,
Yeah,
but
but
there
the
wasn't
whole-
much verbiage.
Let me go back and look at my stuff. I think it had quite a
Okay.
bit of information on there. I think the
Hmm.
original thing was like, it wasn't just the map, it was a whole backup with it
The
too.
plot
of
plan.
information.
Because it's not that old, that it should be in the county
Let me,
records if we don't have it.
I just don't, like you said, Dave, I don't understand why you'd have a mound system with a
A leach
septic.
field,
a
yeah,
leach
with a leach
system.
field, yeah, I don't. Because that's what I have in my house. It's goes to a septic system. The overflow goes to a well, and then when the floats out, when it gets to a certain level, it pumps it to the leach field.
I
If
That's
I
his
can
real
find
sim-
it, I'll send it all out again,
Yeah.
Okay,
just so we can review it.
thank
I
you.
had a thought, for a long time, this lot was vacant,
Yes,
and people would park their heavy equipment here.
yes.
Um,
Yeah, I'm wondering too.
and I'm thinking that none of us would be responsible for flushing blue chem towels down.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of, like, a tree service had their,
Yes, for a
Stuff out
long
here.
time.
everybody used
Yeah,
the lot. as a
county
parking.
did a lot of their equipment out
Yeah.
here when they were doing road work.
And they could have just been shoving it down the,
Coos Curry Electric had their equipment out here.
so it could have happened over the years, because
Yeah.
before there was even anything in it, we were having alarms on that,
Yeah.
thing.
Hmm.
Before anybody was flushing toilets,
Mhm.
right when we were putting this building together.
Yeah.
It was alarming then. So that tells me it's been plugged for a long time.
Hmm.
And of course, because it's so complicated, and I'm not familiar with that type of system, we wouldn't know what to do.
Hmm.
As somebody who does
We
it,
might
we
need
say,
to
well,
have it
just stick
sucked out,
a camera down there and see what's going on.
We might need to have the tank itself
Well, if they,
sucked out.
if they,
It was
if
sucked out, he
Oh.
sucked it out,
Oh.
it's empty, he
Yeah,
showed it to
there's-
me, I looked in there,
that
it
should
was
be done.
empty.
they did the
But
septic
that-
It was
system.
empty and it was still
Curvature and that
plugging up.
height that you
Oh.
talked about,
That's not
you
good.
can't just let that go.
No, right,
gonna
have
and
to
he
be-
agrees.
It's gonna have to be straightened out.
There's also more discrepancy because somebody had said that septic sand field thing had been there for a while before the building was placed. Is
Yeah.
It
that
was.
correct?
Yes.
Well, I said that to James and he's like, no, it isn't. I put it in. But what he must have put in, what did he put in? He said he was digging and putting that system in when the building was placed.
Is it a
Is that
sand
true?
filter?
No,
That's what Brian
what
says.
Brian
Well,
says.
sand filter, you should be checking once a year
Mhm.
because it will clog up. So
Well-
that's something that should happen,
Mhm.
Well, it's all cleared out now.
but it should be
And,
checked once a year.
There's
And
nothing to
it
check on
should be
a
an
sand filter,
emergency
Joe.
relief valve that will tell you that you have a problem. Do you know what
Oh, yeah.
that is?
Well, Eric does.
You know what
The
that-
yeah, the
That
thing. that
will
was
show
telling
you you
there
have
was something
an
going on.
issue.
No, we just have like a control panel up above our septic tank, and that has all the alarms and lights.
That's
and-
probably I'm familiar with an older one.
This one is an older one.
It's
Brian
older.
says this is
He
old.
says it needs to be
It's
updated.
old,
He
yeah.
doesn't, he
Yeah.
says this stuff's pretty old.
Yeah.
The control
Yeah.
panel.
Yeah.
It was probably state of the art when they put it in, but there's
Oh.
lots that vacant.
Yeah, I think
Is it
Well, in
about
20 years,
15
I mean,
15
that's
years
a long-
You
Oh,
need a-
gosh,
you
it's
need
been
a
set
regularly
vacant since
once
I've
a year
been here
put
22
an
years.
inspection on
On
it.
it's been in on that whole time?
Yep.
Oh geez, okay.
Yeah, it's been running for a long period of time. I can remember it, middle of the night, sometimes somebody would call up and say, there's an alarm going on for your fire station.
Yeah.
An alarm at the fire station. I will come walking down here and it was that.
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
go over and, hit the breaker, turn it off.
So they put the system in,
Uh-huh,
stubbed out the line,
uh-huh.
Yeah,
and it just sat there. Maybe they put that blue stuff into the end of the line till it was gonna be connected, and then they just connected the pipes and they just got.
Forgot
and that
about
could
it.
be,
That's pretty plausible, yeah.
But that's
That's
where
what it was big time.
they should have just capped it
Yeah.
and not stuck it with, stuck
Seemed to
it
me it
full
was
of.
capped, but
towels.
anyway.
Yeah, I can't.
I don't get
But we're
that
fixed
anyway.
now. and Everything
Okay,
seems to be
so-
good, so.
We had an issue and we had to
So
do
turn
some
it
phone
over our
calling
agenda.
and your voice was not on there. It was a computer generated voice. And I guess only half the district got it. The ones on boil water or we have an outage.
Well, the reason for that, Don, originally, I had told Julie, I had instructed Julie that we were only going to have a boil water notice from Chandler up to Coy Creek, just that
Right.
half of the system. And
Right.
then I got on the phone with the state and the state said, no, as soon as you open up that valve and you started pressurizing the other side and you got them now connected,
Uh-huh.
the whole system's under a boil water. notice.
Ah, gotcha.
So I
Okay,
had to change it, and that's why there was some mixed messaging. That was my
Okay.
fault.
okay. Maybe on our webpage, that nice one that Steve dug up. When we have a boil water notice, this is what you should be doing type of thing. Like when the message comes out on the phone, we're under boil, well, one of you guys put it up.
Mhm.
We're under boil water. Please look at our webpage for all the information you need on boiling water.
It's on there now.
Bunch
Okay.
of information on.
Yeah,
It's on
'cause,
there
I mean,
now.
that'd be easy just to leave it as a
I put it on.
permanent
Yeah.
entry.
Yeah, it's on there now.
Yeah,
And
table
then,
good.
contents.
and maybe what we'll do is we'll just put on the header with a red banner underneath it that says, boil water notice, please see notification.
Yeah,
And
can
then
do
they can
that.
click on the
Please see
notification and then,
instructions.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
So
then
that's-
something else on the phone thing, the second one wasn't bad. The first one was. It was like they were playing Donald Duck or something on
no,
there.
I had, oh my
couldn't
God. I
It's
can't
Bob,
even
it's
tell you how
Betty,
many
you have a
messages.
boy.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever it was, it really, really sucked. So whether we need to have, all of the managers in the district or all the board in the district call or upgrade the system, which leads to you, what are we paying for? That you,
We already paid for it. The
Okay.
company was sold. We
We are
used to
paying.
have, soft line data.
Yep.
And they,
Now they're G-Works.
and now they've sold to somebody else. It's just been a merger takeover, whatever.
right.
So I
So
don't
there
know.
hasn't been a modification of anything.
Nothing
that
is
they're doing.
changing so far.
Okay,
From
just
what
the
got
they.
thing you
bought out.
sent out though was just, all it was a contract update.
Right,
It didn't tell us what we're really getting out of that program.
yes. Well, our plans haven't changed, at
Okay.
least we haven't. And what we pay for is we pay for website, and you have, your purple folders have all of the invoices that will show you this, and I'll just summarize it for you.
This is
we
the same
paid-
thing.
We
Yeah.
pay $440 a year for website. We pay $395 for the alert system.
That's for 2 years.
That's for a year. This is all yearly stuff.
Oh my, maybe we need to look at that other company.
$65 for billing. The tablet for 260, I think we can get rid of. You don't use that tablet for anything, do you, Eric?
I do not.
So
Do we
we're,
even
And not
have
to
it?
say the next guy might not want it, but yeah, oh yeah.
we
we've got
have
it.
a tablet, but
Mhm.
there's no sense paying. Well, I guess, would we have to send the tablet back or?
Why
what
do we
would
not use
do?
it?
I think
I'm
we
just
bought it.
curious.
It's just an extra step that just
I
adds
think
more
the
time to the
tablet we
thing.
didn't buy from
You know.
Do you enter
them.
'em
It's
into
our
the brick?
tablet,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so
You just.
So it's
into
just
the
connected.
brick.
Well, yeah.
this is just
The
connection.
main problem with that tablet was when you're in the field, you've got, so you pull up your number punch, your keypad,
Yeah.
and it's about this big on the tablet. It's not very big.
Oh, and you guys all got big fingers.
So, and then when you go to press on like the 5, sometimes 5 doesn't compute, so you really gotta pay attention. Did it go?
Okay, so the brick is easier to use.
The brick?
Well, the brick was the handheld.
The
No.
Scion, we don't use.
We don't
those
use the
either.
Scion either. We're just really basic about it. We
You're writing
we
them
write
down?
the meter down on the meter route list. We come back and we put it in the billing system.
That's what we did.
It's 2 steps. It's pretty easy.
Instead
I
of
mean,
5 or 6 and
the
then
only-
batteries are dead and then, you know, it rains on the damn thing or whatever.
And the
Yeah.
brick too, it wasn't a regular QWERTY keyboard.
Uh-huh,
So it went like A, B, C, D.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, we
Well, and
don't,
I'll let you know, we're not the only ones that aren't using those.
oh, yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
no, Smith River, they were shelved. The Bass Lake, they were shelved. They
Right.
only lasted maybe 6 months and
They're complicated. If they
no,
put
they
the
just don't
regular QWERTY keyboard or like on your phone for God's sake.
Yeah.
But the numbers made no sense at all. They were,
well, and we're
So-
completing meter reads in, 2 days.
yeah.
They're done. So, and if we really wanted to, we could probably do it in a 10-hour day.
Wow,
So
okay,
it's not a big deal.
all right. all
Okay,
right.
good. I
So
was
if
just curious because it seemed like it was a
so
cool
we're,
thing.
we're gonna be able to get rid of the 260. It's already paid
Okay.
for now, but we won't redo that.
Yeah.
And, the yearly support for everything, for being able to call them, and,
Mhm.
like we do, is 525.
Where's that one?
So,
Wait a minute, I
That's
only
okay.
have 4 pages.
No, that's on the first page.
Invoice,
And that's got this, the.
yearly
Oh, I see.
policy for,
Okay.
oh, sorry. that's not it, but-
How did this all work during our issue last week, or I mean, last month? It doesn't seem like these things came together.
It did
That we
not.
paid
I did
for,
not
yeah.
get notified.
I didn't either. I did get some. I got the second one as a text.
You know, we
But it
finally
was just-
decided,
It was all
I
over the
sent
place.
Julie an email and I said, shut off the ringer on the phone,
Mhm.
do a recording. Says we're currently experiencing a water outage. Service is estimated to be restored at 4:35 local time
Mhm.
and,
So on and so forth, yeah.
and shut the phone off.
Yeah,
So-
I think, I think that's a good advice. But I think, what Steve's bringing up is that and I talked to Eric earlier, I think we need to work on our response, because Eric and staff,
They were working their tails off.
and their phone was
yeah.
going off nonstop.
Yep.
And so this is where I think. we
Eric
need-
shut his ringer off too. I sent him a text message.
Yeah. but
no,
think
I
we need-
didn't. I took calls through the whole period. I
I
mean,
thought you shut it off.
sometimes I had a caller on hold and I was on a call and I had another call coming in and I'm in the hole at the same time. And it's like, well, I'm gonna miss some of these calls. I know some of them went to Facebook. And it's like, honestly, I did the best I could. You should have seen my call list. I was only able to record 2 hours of the past calls
Right,
before it was gone. There
Right.
was no room on my phone anymore.
That's
to
why we
record
put the
calls.
recording on the office phone here.
What did
Look,
you
this
tell
is
them when you
going on.
spoke to people?
Basically, we're out here, we're working on it. As soon as we have it, estimated restoration
So,
time is this,
if
and
they-
please bear with us.
If they had called you and you've referred them to the website for information, that would have been the better way and you would
Yeah.
have spent your
Honestly,
time.
if I have to pick up the call and I even have to communicate with somebody, it's taken away from
Right,
yeah.
what's going
So
on.
that's
my-
gotta stop, right?
My
Mhm.
thoughts then are to be very
Yeah,
firm on
it
our
was rough.
recording. Please
Yeah.
do not bother the district manager
Right.
this time.
right.
They're working
The
out.
on-call person, yeah,
If you need to leave a message, do so at the tone. We'll return at
when we can.
first opportunity.
Yeah.
But
I'm not sure
anybody
our
calling,
customers are gonna understand.
refer them back to the
Some
website
of
where
them
the
just want to call and
information
BS
is.
about it.
Not
Well, and
everybody
that's
in
that's
this
another
area
good point.
uses the
I
website.
get
No,
a
they
lot of calls that are non-emergency.
Yeah.
And I try not to bark at them, but it says clearly on our answer machine, it says, if you have an emergency.
Yeah,
But a lot of people, their judgment of an emergency is, well, I don't know how much my bill is. This is an emergency.
yeah,
So I need to call you.
it's true,
8 o'clock at night. How much is my water bill?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you're gonna have to call back tomorrow during business hours. I'm real sorry.
This
And
is
I
emergency
say
only.
that in the answer, if this is,
But if you have a
this is not
message,
an emergency, call
Give
the
away.
office at our regular hours. and
Yeah.
what more can
if you
say?
have a message when they call, and like the kind of calls you're getting and say, if you have this issue, call this person
Mhm.
tomorrow. You know, if it's not an emergency, if it's an emergency, do this. If you have this issue, do that. You know what the issues you get calls
Mhm,
about.
mhm.
So you could have that in your meshes and hopefully that will eliminate some of those calls
Yeah.
because you will be sending them to the
Hopefully.
right person the next day or to the website or whatever.
If you have a billing question, please call back during normal business hours. If
Yes.
it's an emergency and you have water pouring out of your wall or whatever.
Yeah,
Right.
if you have water running, you can call me,
Right,
please
right.
do, matter of
Yeah,
fact, but
right.
if it's a billing or
Yeah,
You need to come up with a really good and stern
statement on that.
state, not stern, but you know what I mean?
a little bit more of a
definitive.
descriptive email
Yeah.
or voice
Professional.
message.
Don't call,
Professional.
yeah, leave out the, please don't call Eric after 8 if you just want to know what your bill is.
Yeah.
If you have a bill.
Yeah, field employees do not carry the bills with them.
Mhm.
Anything about bills, please call the office during work days.
You know
Right,
what, let me put something
Right.
together and fix the, we'll fix the recording.
because
Yeah,
he
that'd be
should not
good.
be spending his time on the phone.
No,
I was
He's
on
way
the
too
call.
valuable.
And everybody I was working with too
We
was
have
just
more
rolling their
issues
eyes.
than just that. We've got to get this phone system, that routing number that's still connected to the fire hall over there. It gives people mixed messages, different phone numbers to call. Why does it tell me I'm calling this number when I'm calling 247 and it's some 345 number or something? I don't even know what it is, but
I
No,
know what
that,
you're talking
that
about.
is remote call forwarded. So when you call the 2614, because we got service with Charter, that when you call the old 2614 in software, it sends it to the 425 number. But when you call someone, Charter doesn't care about caller ID. So when it sends out, it says that it's a 425 number because it is.
and it also tells people on
It's internet
their,
dial tone. I can't fix that.
their caller ID, when our alert system was
Yeah.
calling people, it's telling them that it's a spam call.
Yes, I got that.
too.
Because, you know
I do
why?
too.
Because it's calling multiple numbers.
Yeah.
And that is the trigger for spam call.
Mm.
Yeah.
I get spam calls. I recognize the number. It's Curry County emergency.
Mm-hmm.
But it marks it as spam because they've called 100 other people before they call me. So
Yeah.
it's an auto dialer.
Mhm.
And that's the trigger they use in software to identify spam call.
Ah,
So
okay.
put it in your phone as
Uh-huh.
a regular phone call,
Contact.
as a
Yeah.
contact.
Yeah.
That's how you get rid of it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it's a network thing. It's how it works.
Hmm,
That was the best thing they could come up with
huh.
for identifying.
Mhm.
So there's
Spam
no
calls.
way to change that.
No, it happens on reverse 911
Yeah.
when they're notifying you of an emergency in the county or 911 is down or something.
Hmm.
It comes up as a
Saying
spam.
is a spam.
I'll get you know what, it's funny, because I'll get I have 2 cell phones on my home phone.
Right,
So it'll come through on my home phone as a sheriff's department.
yes.
And my first cell phone, it'll come through as maybe as 33, and on the second, it comes through as spam.
Yeah.
And it's the same number.
Now you can reduce those so you don't get the phone call, you just get a text. Cause you're always carrying your cell phone. Even when you're at home, you have your cell phone. So if you get rid of all those numbers, except for the home phone number and your cell phone as a text, you won't get a lot of that junk.
Yeah, and the other,
I know, because I bought the program for the county.
Yeah.
Well, I'll
But
tell
that's
you
how
one
they
good thing
identify
that
spam.
happened during all that time was that a lot of people were calling in and saying, how come I didn't get notified?
Yes.
Well, then I'd look at their account and I'll say, well, this is the phone number I have for you. Oh, I haven't had that phone number for years.
Perfect.
Ta-da.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I don't have an email address for you either.
Right.
Oh, well, I have one of those. Well, maybe we should put it on your account.
and you know
then.
what, I went on the.
Do you
Gold
have a
Beach
cell
public
phone as
forum and
well?
I put that
Because
on
it
there.
has different,
If you
Right.
haven't
you
been
know,
called,
if you have their
Yeah.
247
I wasn't
number
really
in the
nice to
cell
a couple other
number
people.
position,
Right.
then it won't send a text to
Right.
that number.
That's right.
So and they didn't tell me that at UB Max.
No.
I had to figure that out for myself just from talking to customers
Yeah.
and having certain numbers in certain places. So I
Right.
tried to fix what I could, but we still have customers that I have no phone number,
Right.
no way to get a hold of them.
Is
Well,
there a
hopefully they'll
way,
get ahold of it.
is there a way to put out a message to all our customers saying we want to update all of our records?
Yeah, see, you
Please.
get a bill every month and it's on the bill every month, but nobody reads the
Well,
bills.
you could put a note in there to ask them to give the
That's what she's saying.
updated.
That's
We
what
do
I'm
do.
saying.
It's
In the
on there
comment
now.
It's on the bill.
Yeah, it's on the bill.
Maybe put something in
We
red.
have a little bit,
Yeah,
of-
I
there you go.
can't do anything with those bills.
We have
It
a little bitty
generates it
Yeah,
from their
square.
this
program.
company generates bills.
we have
Yeah,
a little bitty
I-
square on the bill that allows you to only have so many characters.
Yeah.
What I'm asking is, can we make a special mailing to everybody.
sure.
Well, those
Do you know how
that's
much those
really
are?
expensive.
I know,
I'm
but
just
I mean,
saying.
what I'm saying is though, we want to get current
It's a one-time.
information on everybody, and if we
Yeah.
get it all at once, we'll have it. And then we're not going through this type of thing. It may be a pain in the butt to do it once. If you want, I'll come in and help stuff the envelopes or something
You
like
know
that,
what? I have
but I
another
think it's gonna
idea
get people
too.
attention. It's not gonna happen with. the
We need to
billing.
utilize the Gold Beach Public Forum. I could go
Mhm.
on there and put a thing saying, you know, if you experienced issues with the last water outages
Good
within
idea.
Sitka Beach.
Yeah.
Call the office and update your email address and
Yeah.
your
Cell number
phone,
and your
because
home
those are
phone.
the ways that we communicate with you.
Yeah.
By the way, when we do a broadcast call like this, it may show on your phone as spam. Just
Yeah.
put some information like that
Nice,
out
yeah.
there.
That would work.
And,
That would be good.
yeah, and that
I could
covers, it
probably get
saves
that
us
tape
about
tomorrow if you want to.
$600, huh?
Mhm.
We can get that tape tomorrow. I'll just go down to Carl's and say, I want you to tape me and put me on the forum.
Oh, I usually go on their Facebook page and make an entry.
Yeah, Gold Beach Community,
And there's the Gold Beach Community Forum, there's also the City Gold Beach.
Yeah. So we
So,
don't care about.
and not
the
everybody's
city.
on them. I mean, I know you weren't, Joe, because I got contacted to give you your information from, Mr. Barnes. Because he said you don't use that. So not everybody does use it,
Mhm.
but it would be a good way to get some of the message out and at least find out who can, take care of it at that
it's a
point.
start.
Mhm.
Some of it is just UB Max issues, I believe,
Mhm.
because when I'm using that alert system and it brings up our whole route list of people, it has little icons that are either in red or green, and they're the icons for the email, the cell phone,
Mhm.
which is a text message, and a home phone, which would be a voice message. A lot of them, if you're looking at them, if they're red, it means they don't have that. And I would look up a customer, and some of the customers had all three red things, and I would look up their accounts where in fact they did have
Mhm.
information in those places. And so why is it saying at our alert system that they don't have these services? I couldn't get an answer out of UB Max on that one.
Sometimes you have
So-
to look at how it's put in too, because somebody may have put it in as 5401 period 247 period instead of a hyphen or stringing the whole number together.
When you're typing numbers into the UB Max system, it sets all that up automatically.
Okay.
I don't do.
Here's the interesting thing, that when you put those on an auto dialer, it has to see a space and it gives it an extra millisecond.
Mhm.
So, because if you look at your digit strings, I used to do that all the time. I'd analyze digit strings to see, what was going on with the SS7 network. Yeah, and you gotta have a space in there. It
Like I
gives it a
say, I
millisecond.
can't put.
But if
spaces
they
in.
put dots and dashes in there, it's not gonna be recognized
Right.
by the SS7 network.
It automatically puts the parentheses around,
The
That
prefix
delineates the area
and-
code.
or the,
that is
yeah.
the area
Yeah,
code.
yeah,
It delineates the
yeah,
area
the
code.
the parentheses delineates the area code.
Ideally,
'Cause
the
we may
best
have
way for
somebody
those to
be
go
stupid
in
and put it in there
would
first.
be just like 541 space 247 space.
Well, and it should on the program, it should tell you how it wants you to input it,
Yeah.
I
There
don't
should be an
input it, that's
example.
what I'm saying,
Yeah.
I don't put those.
She puts it in the
automatically-
customer
It does it,
information,
it's on its own.
but
Yeah.
when you start typing 541, you can type the whole number and not have any space bars or anything.
Right, and that's what I'm saying, where it asks for the contact information phone number, it should give you an example of how it would like it, like for dates, for instance, it'll say two digit, 4-digit, that's the
I
way
don't
they want
have
you
to
to
put
write the
any
date.
of that in there, that's what I'm saying, I don't do any of that.
You don't put the contact
All I
information?
have to do is type numbers, I don't have to put spaces, it automatically puts the.
Oh, it does it for
It
you?
puts the dash in, it puts the
So you just
parentheses in,
hit the
I don't do
numbers.
it, I just hit numbers.
What was their
Well, that's how
response?
it wants it.
What was their response when you talked to them about the issues that we had? Did they have any?
They didn't have a
Suggestion.
clue, but what I kind of figured out and got some changed was that, a lot of people now don't have anything but a cell phone.
Right.
And so in order for their cell phone number to come up on our work orders so that men in the field can see their phone number and give them a call if they need to, it has to be on their home phone number place.
Of course.
So what I've realized is if during our emergency thing, if they need to get a text message, I have to have, if all they have is a cell number, I have to have it both at their home
Mhm.
thing and at their cell phone.
And that makes
position.
sense, 'cause you
So
can't
then
text
it
a
will
landline.
transfer to, but nobody ever told me this anywhere along the
But you
way.
can't get a text message on your home phone, right?
Right,
Right,
yeah,
So it stands to
So-
reason. It would have to be.
yeah, it's been a learning experience. It was the first time I'd ever had to use the system
okay.
and to play with it.
It was cumbersome.
Without
wasn't it?
sending out emergency things, you can't do it. So it's not like I could ever practice with it.
Well, the
But-
state didn't give us any grief on our, they asked, because I had to fill out a boil water
Yeah.
affidavit thing for Kent, and they wanted to know the methods used for notifying customers for the boil water notice, and the methods were the radio, public
The
alert,
call tree.
and email, and they were totally good with that.
Okay,
So
Yeah.
did you just do this on your own, Eric, or because of your experience, or do we have any policy and procedures?
I don't think we ever had a mop for something like that.
It's
We've
pretty.
not had such a long-term water outage that required this, basically the system refilling. The closest thing we came was the,
Quite briefly.
but I'll tell you what, there was negative pressure on this. This was the worst one I had ever seen. I flushed the toilet and there was nothing in the tank.
Hmm.
I mean, that's back. It pulled all the water out of my system.
I know how it works.
Yeah, there wasn't, and I was stunned. I got an air bubble and I went, what? Eric, so I'm texting Eric. First I called, then I texted. But,
Well, the reason I asked that
So,
question, Jackie, is
we've
I think,
never,
I think we have there's a bunch of different aspects of emergency that we've only talked about a couple of them.
Right.
One was the phone notification.
right,
But what we started off was we can't have our district manager and staff
You
answering the
can't.
phones when they're down in a hole.
no, they need to,
but-
they need to
but-
shut their phones off.
But on the other hand, you have to realize that drinking water, being able to take a shower, flush your toilet,
Oh,
that's
huge.
important. I mean, it's important to our customers, and so we need to be able to talk to them. So I would like to think that we could come up with a notification, shared responsibilities. Maybe when Eric says, hey, this is a big spill, we can't just take care of it in an hour or two. And he, and that we'll have maybe different roles we can play to support.
I have a good idea. Well, we had a big to-do. Jerry and I came down and Julie, and we brought our phones and we called customers.
and that was for the Euchre.
I mean, we have 600 customers.
Mhm.
We spend a morning here calling everybody. My thoughts are we get
Some
another.
people didn't answer because my wife has a 408 area code, so
And
they
they-
were
yeah.
spam.
Yeah.
Well, you get a recording, you can leave a
Well,
message.
Paying for this emergency thing is
Yeah.
supposed to eliminate having to do that. I mean, we
Right,
shouldn't
right,
have
right.
to sit here and make individual
And they
phone
should have
calls
had
with a
training
system
with
like
their
this.
software on how
Right.
to use it too.
I'm not
Okay.
happy with them.
It's
Yeah,
pretty
I don't
buggy.
sound
Every,
too impressed.
There's too many,
myself.
but to me, when I looked at this, I've dealt with sophisticated stuff. To me, it's like one step above a prototype.
Yeah,
My suggestion to handle, we need to get another cell phone. Okay? And when they're in the trenches on something like this,
mhm.
theirs gets shut off. We give them this other cell phone that we can contact them with, so that the only calls they'll ever get
It was just
would be
us.
from us.
And if I'm in town, I'll come down and help. You call me.
But I mean, we can all
Mhm.
sit here and make phone calls, but I think we should just, they can't be dealing with
Right.
calls like you said and doing that.
We're
Why
taking a
don't-
step backward, my feeling. If we get another cell phone, we're taking a step backward. We need to fix this.
Well, we're gonna fix
Software.
this. We're gonna come up with a really good recording for our answering machine.
Okay,
So we're gonna
and we're
work on,
supposed to, we pay $525 a year for training and support. So let's get a little more support from those people.
yeah, well,
Because we
see,
can always tell them, there's other products on the market.
if they were
Right.
in, and I
That's when you
wanna,
get the attention.
I wanna revisit that other company. Because when I
Yeah.
look and see how much we're paying for all of this.
Yeah.
That $75 a month is not so bad.
Yeah.
You add all this up,
How many times do you use it?
It only takes once.
Hey, the two people that we tagged to start paying their bill, that will cover the $75 a month.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, if you add all this, I don't even know.
This comes to $1,685, and that doesn't
year.
include like $320 for 2 boxes of bill cards that we buy.
So we're spending $1,685.
Like
Yeah,
you said,
but
there's other
minus
products out
260,
there.
Because the 260's coming off.
There's a
there,
lot of
so
them too.
It's actually about
There is.
Quite a few.
1425.
We use a totally different system down in Smith River called Continental Billing System.
Yeah.
And then we have the old waterworks here that seem like work pretty well for us. We even go back to it every now and then as an archive.
Mhm.
It's $900 a year from the other one.
Yeah,
But
There
we
you go,
still have to
saving
find
500 bucks.
but we
right
don't
there.
know what all it would do.
Okay, and we're still waiting on our adjusted income.
Okay, so let's work on this.
That's on my plate too. And I have a note here, because I gotta follow up on that other gal.
But, we need to have the biggest thing, my thinking is the communication. Because if we can take the step to the communications, then we can broaden out.
Mhm.
You know, we just, you guys calling 600 people in a
Yeah.
4-hour period, that sucked. I know it did. And I was ready to come down too. When I finally heard what they were doing, I was going, oh, well, shit, I should be down there too. But
I
you
just
know-
wanted to stay out of the way, but I would have helped.
now,
I don't know.
just to
what
let
they would
everybody
do.
know, I don't know what they would charge us, but the county has a disaster phone line. That's the one we were talking about earlier. Okay,
The reverse
yeah,
911.
the reverse
Mhm.
911 system through Everbridge.
Mhm.
I still have my back door. But anyway, we could,
But
in
don't I call
theory, go
everybody
and
in the
talk to
county?
the sheriff's office about buying in to the communications portion. I don't know how much they would charge us. Like I said, when I left office 4 years ago now, it was $6,000 a year. But that was for the entire county.
I think that,
But it's so simple.
I think
You
we
just
should-
draw a circle around where you
Exactly.
want, and every phone number that's in there, as long as the people go and sign in on it. And I had a lot of people sign in on it, especially with the 2 fires, the one down in Brookings. The Chetco Bar fire, and then the other one that was up over here when we were doing the command center for both of those. People were calling in and saying, hey, my neighbor gets this phone call with information. Yeah, hey, let me put you down, and
So
and
they
we
have
would
to
actually
register?
enter it. Huh?
They have to register.
Yeah, you just
They-
go online to it and it says it's dedicated to your home address. So you could be on a cruise in the Bahamas and you'll get the call that a tsunami's coming. But it'll be to your home, it won't be where you are.
or your cell phone.
Yeah.
Again, though, we're
I'm on
gonna
it.
have to make contact with all the customers and get the customers to,
Well,
register.
I would say that the vast majority of people are
Already
already
are.
on it. So all we would have to do is, we could buy some cards. We wouldn't have to put out, we could do a fold out, triple fold and mail it. Library rate or whatever. I don't know how much library rate is, but we could do that saying, hey, we have 2 systems where we can contact you if there's an issue. One of them is through the county and the other one is through it, but you need to register. We need to have your cell phone and your home address.
What is that site?
It's Everbridge.
It's a
Yeah,
website.
go to Curry County, Departments, Emergency Management. And you'll see it, and if you cruise down through, you'll see emergency alerts on there.
So
Emergency
Steve,
management.
I'd like to utilize the platform that we have first,
Oh, yeah.
as far as
yeah,
calling,
yeah.
and not drag another. We'll start with this.
Another chicken.
Yeah.
This may have some way of tying the UB Max system into our local police and that too.
Boy, I don't know.
Now,
It might
I would
even be
say-
able
No.
to tie into
Not do
the
that?
reverse 911.
I-
That's
no,
the way I got on
Everbridge.
it was through the website
Right.
for the company, not through the county.
That's the
Oh, is
Everbridge.
that right?
I believe so. I heard about it somewhere else.
Right.
And then went there and then got, then they send you to your locale.
When I went to my friend's house in say Memphis, they're not in Memphis, they're in the north end of Georgia. Anyway, when I was going to their county and we were gonna be there for a week, I went online, found out what it was and registered on them. So that if they were gonna have a hurricane or whatever coming in, I
You'll-
could be notified. And when I got home, I deleted it.
Mhm.
So,
Let's come up, so I've got notes here, I need to come up with a recording for our answering machine. And, oh,
or a standard, because it may not be, we have a break. It
No,
may
that's
be
it.
boil water.
no, yes, we want a standard one and we want an emergency one.
And
So,
then there also
um,
may be a one where there's something strange like, expected work outage in your area. So there'd be total of 3
Like
that
a
you might
plan.
I
have.
like that.
Yeah.
Planned outage,
So people would know what's
Yeah.
like, if we knew this was gonna happen,
right.
to tell people that way they're not calling when it happens.
Yeah, we
because
can,
we've already
we
told
can
them about it.
verbalize these so that
Yeah.
all,
We've done that before.
so that
Yeah,
all Jill
that's
will
a-
have
That's
to
a good
do
one.
Yep.
is just,
We've done.
input the
cloud
street.
plan
There you go.
damage call.
The 3 strings and be ready to go.
so
Boom.
we got 1, 2,
Right?
okay, but we
Right.
want, so if we have an emergency situation, we're against having another cell phone
Yes,
just for,
just for
just to
that.
contact them, you don't want to do that.
No, because like I said, it's taking a step back. And if we do this and we say, our people know about it and they're on it, please let us work without calling it or something,
Yeah.
I
you know,
can
to
come up
that.
with,
You
yeah,
know, I mean,
It would just be, please don't
If it
call
is
the
here,
emergency number.
if it's an
now.
emergency, you know, if it's a non-emergency, leave your message here. You know, if it's such as billing information or change of address information, change of mailing address information, that kind of stuff, just call here tomorrow morning, you know, tomorrow or whenever the office is open again. If it's an emergency such as water leaking or no water, those kinds of things, please call
yeah.
the
If
on-duty
you have
person.
no water or you have a
Yeah.
water leak,
Yeah, too much water.
major water leak, Yeah, no water. or
No
too much
water or too much water, call.
Dave, what do you think?
I think these are all little aspects of what I'd suggested we look at, which is basically an emergency response plan.
Right.
And what
So
you
we
guys,
need a
we don't
map.
have any issues with what you guys are talking about.
But we need a mop,
But-
don't we?
But I
Method
think
of
there's more to
procedure.
it than just what you talked about.
Mhm.
And-
So we need a
and-
method of
And then we
procedure.
need to communicate with our employees, and I'm gonna put something on for next month's agenda is, you know, we had a rate increase last year. And we agreed that we would revisit that
Yes,
every year,
annually.
and next month is annual.
Okay,
So we need to do that, and so, and I would recommend that, would, depending on what we decide,
Mhm.
which will probably be a rate increase, I mean, if we stick to the guns. That we need to send a mailer out, and I
Yeah.
think that would be an opportunity to explain what the increase is about and why, but also that, you know, we had a recent spill. You could
Yes.
you could use it as explaining to people how we want to respond and how important it is that they give us their personal information so we can get to them.
okay, so,
So if we're gonna do a letter anyway, we could put in a bunch of stuff,
Yeah, we can. We can put a lot of stuff in it.
okay.
you know,
So
in
we
that
need
case,
a-
it makes it more worth, it makes it get more money for the value.
All right, so
Or
I've
value
got-
for
Yeah,
the
because
money.
postage is about to go up again,
Yeah.
and our.
There you
bills
go.
are gonna-
Postage is about ready to go up.
Everything. I know, it's amazing.
We'll just drop them when we do meter reads.
There you go. Yeah.
So Joe, on the
Already
meter
there.
reads, you probably don't know this, but when I came in, we had a decision the board made that we want to eventually go to automatic readers. And there are a lot of meters, you can do it different ways. You can go by and tap the meter and it'll read it. You can walk by and it will read it. Or you can do the fancy one is a telemetry's into your main office. We don't have the money resources for that. So we bought I don't know how many, 50 or 60 meters that we've been
About like
using.
90.
I forget how many, but
We
anyway,
bought
50 or
that.
60 that they're not connected, but they can be connected in the future.
Yeah.
So that's something we'd like to do. And that would enable us to just do the drive-by. So you don't have to go and read the meter, which is
They work on
telemetry.
RF.
Telemetry is the information. So we're working in that direction, but that's a couple grants away.
The very old meters going first and then, you know, working our way up. So
Smart
Yeah.
meters.
But it's actually a pretty cool system.
We can show you one. We got some.
Proper numbers now
I'm
too.
still waiting for a tour.
Well, you
Oh,
got
yeah.
it. It's up to you to
I'm still
call.
waiting. I'm
You
still
gotta
waiting.
call, just call in.
Anybody, I'm ready whenever anybody follows. I know he's busy. And so I don't want to push, you know, just so when you have time.
Okay.
But
What's your
one thing I
schedule like
wanted
next week?
I'm
to
gonna keep
ask
this.
Eric, and I look at what
Actually.
happened
Oh,
Mhm.
as an opportunity to learn things. And I know Eric's isn't gonna be here pretty soon, it sounds
Oh,
like.
he's gonna be here for a while.
Yeah, well, I
We're
hope
gonna find a
not.
whole-
But I think right now,
That's
why
a
it's
friends but misses.
anything from the beginning to the end, do you think we should learn to do something different? In the whole process, if you looked at it,
In my opinion, I did, because like you said, disasters are great learning opportunities in case they should. ever arise.
Unfortunately,
They
yeah.
are. And the one big thing that I learned personally as a water operator, I learned more about the system, how water flows, how the hydraulic cable, everything just kind of works here inside the system. I got a better understanding. I won't really elaborate on that, but the second thing was this is my another
the communication.
point of interest. Yeah, because we were getting mixed messages. We were getting calls with people saying, hey, this guy got a call. He told me about it. I never got a call. What's the deal?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I think that was pretty much our biggest.
Yeah, that's one
mishap
thing we
through the
wanted in
whole-
here.
So our
Some of
stock
our
answer
wording.
now is, do you have
Please
the
go to
proper
our
phone number at the
website.
office? Those kinds of things.
Mhm.
So yeah, a manual of instructions for,
Well, even just
Issues.
procedures, because we have
Yeah.
a book on policies and procedures.
yeah,
And if we don't have a emergency response procedure, we should write one up.
Yep.
And just detail these things that,
and everybody should have a copy.
communication that we spoke mostly on talk about is one of them, but supporting the field staff is another.
I know, I felt-
Communicating with the state if we need to, all that stuff that we can't dump all on Eric or the district manager or Julie.
Kent is pretty decent, the health inspector for Curry County, he's pretty decent.
He's not just Curry County anymore.
No, they closed down the.
They
water-
fired him,
Yeah.
let him go.
They're not even managing water. They gave it to the state, so it's all
Okay.
Oregon Health Authority
See,
now.
now they're pretty decent, because I've talked to them when we were starting this, we were trying to figure out how to get all our reports in and stuff.
Except certain people there are, I'm ashamed to say, having worked for agencies most of my life, not all of it, they're just bureaucrats.
Yeah.
They're just friggin' bureaucrats, like the plans we sent in and asking them to review and critique that with the stuff we spent $45,000 on. And then they charged us $5,000 and didn't say a word.
Yeah.
And I know there was stuff in there that they could have said something about to make it better. So,
Yeah.
so anyway, it's nice if we could have a local support, but Perry County can't afford
No.
the staff.
Well, they could if they didn't put all the money in the sheriff's department.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
It seems like a
2
lot of.
million in addition to their regular budget. Holy moly.
From what I've gathered, I've only been up here 2 years working with Oregon Health Authority, but it just seems like it's all about revenue. It's
It
not so
is.
much about
In
details of the
Oregon, everybody
project.
they charge you for everything
mhm,
that used to be their job. It was like their job to do this.
right,
We pay taxes to pay your salaries for your job.
Mhm.
Now we're paying taxes to pay your salaries to do your freaking job. And now you're charging me money to do your job.
yeah,
It's like, it's your job. You have one job.
I think Kent tries to do, he's a nice guy, and he tries to do his job. I communicated with when I was doing it, and Eric seems to have a good relationship with him, but
Yeah.
for example, he told Eric he had to do boil water for the whole district.
mhm,
And there's no way water runs uphill. So that's, and
Well,
I
it's
don't, and I
getting
don't know where
pumped
that's
uphill.
in, I don't know where that's in
Well, all those
regulation.
pumps in Indian Hills were pumping it up that hill.
yeah,
What if
But
we
not-
got a bacteria?
But we
in the
had it
line?
isolated.
yeah,
It was isolated.
Okay,
isolated right here.
I don't have
Yeah.
no water.
Yeah, I know. And we all, was all of us down that way.
Thank God
Okay.
my sister was here.
So we
by
got
the way.
those
So-
things that are working, and you're still going to work on your paperwork so that you can talk to that company about maybe less than $75 a
Hopefully.
month. That thing.
By the way,
But we'll see.
I make 2 trips to Coos Bay this month. I'm going on the 16th,
Okay.
and then again I always take water samples up when I go to Coos Bay. So let me just.
You getting to know that office pretty well now, are
Oh,
you?
hot damn.
The route right to it?
And they actually put their shit down and help me.
Oh, man.
They don't make me stand there and hold.
So they're not they didn't seem to be as grumpy.
They weren't as grumpy this time.
No, I noticed it getting mellower, maybe.
So I'm going up the 16th and the 22nd.
Okay.
They're both in the afternoon, so we're looking at, 10 or 11, so whichever day.
Okay.
And then in December, I'm going up on the 12th. So
I should write your days on my
That's our-
calendar.
that's
So
our
I
letter
write it down
seven.
on there, so you'll have them.
Okay, yeah, tell me on the, hand me the
Okay,
calendar.
the 16th.
16th, that's of November.
November.
Okay,
Yeah.
November 16 and 22nd, is that what it was?
Right.
So Eric, did you,
And in
you looked it up
December, it
once
was the
before already,
12th?
the municipal cost
Okay.
index?
Yeah,
All right.
if
So
there's
maybe for
something
next
that
month,
has
we
to go
can
that
see what
can
it is
stay.
for this year, if
Okay.
they have, if they have it out.
I'm gonna have
already.
Yeah,
yeah,
I've seen
it
it for
usually
a year
hovers right
now,
around
Ron.
4%.
Okay, got it.
Is
So I'll
it-
put
It
on my
usually hovers
calendar
right
so
between
that I
3
know.
and 4%. It seems like the
Okay.
last couple of years it has.
Yeah,
Well,
but this
but-
flat, but
Yeah,
this,
but
this
this,
time-
This year was probably about 8 or 9.
Do you think that'll reflect it?
It probably will.
some
yeah.
of it anyway, and then
Okay.
next year too.
Okay,
Correspondence.
I'll get you that.
Correspondence.
We just need to talk about it next
Can we
week.
just get it from Mississippi Gold Beach?
The only thing I had,
It would be good to
Not
get
that
it
important,
off of
it's
the
just- it was
folks that
kind of
actually
good to
said
see.
it.
You can get it right here on Google. in
possibly
like
Yeah.
less than
Yeah.
30
workman's comp
seconds.
is gonna
Because
be lower.
Don't they
in
used
Oh,
to,
wow. Let her
23.
know.
well, I used to
Yeah.
Portland.
This was.
Workman's comp is
interesting.
probably gonna go
Workman's
down.
Comp is actually going down, it's gonna decrease a little this year.
Yay, we may save some money.
Yeah,
No, but I
so-
think that's a good idea, Jackie, whether we use what Gold Beach uses or not, to
Yeah.
call them and ask them what they're using.
Yeah.
Just so we know, because we get
You're good.
compared all
I
the
don't wanna
time.
do
and peop-
another $5 a month raise and have everybody flip out if
No.
Gold Beach is doing $1.72.
Well, yeah, but you know,
Yeah.
that's the problem, that, and we can use
3.6
this
is
letter to
lower.
explain that we're not a taxing district.
Yeah, right. We don't have
Like,
tax
everybody
backup.
forgets
Do you
that.
want me to put something like that in there too?
In what?
In that
This
letter you're writing.
info letter. Do you have anything else we can send them? Like, do we have any hoorahs on our crystal pure water supply?
Or as far as like,
News to the
Well,
public.
we could talk about our projects, about trying to get another well, about getting a centralized
I've
structure.
made notes here on stuff.
Yeah, I
that
mean,
needs to
just,
go
we could
in.
use it, if we're gonna
Perfect.
do a mailing, we might as well get as
Okay.
much.
maybe let them
info.
know we like baked goods down here too.
We like that.
Baked
Baked
goods.
goods.
Cookies are always good. Appreciate it.
Okay, maintenance report there,
Okay, so,
Contract.
last month was we had the outage, we had leaks. We're pretty much caught up on all that. I don't know if I told everybody, but when we were repressurizing the system after that big ordeal, we blew out a couple of booster stations, so we actually blew out 3 of them. And then we also blew out an 8-inch on Cypress. And then we blew out a 4-inch on Greg's Creek.
Oh, my gosh.
And I think there was one other one somewhere. So we got all that stuff fixed over the last few weeks and things are coming back down to normal.
Could I ask on that point, would it have helped to have had folks man because usually at the end of each line, there's a blow off.
Mhm.
To have those open while we pressurize it, because probably a lot of those blowouts were caused by air pockets. and stuff.
Yeah.
We could
So, I mean,
have,
that
It
could be
really,
that.
it really would have
Well,
been,
that could be part of our response plan.
it really would have been
Gosh.
helpful. I mean, if we had everybody, but.
At least 3 or 4 of them
In
open, I
that
think.
situation, we're already going a couple different directions and to be driving out to all these dead ends, and not even really understanding when the water is gonna get there.
Yeah.
And then having to double back to all these dead ends and turn them off once the water is there.
Right.
Is just not feasible for us.
Is there a way that,
The system should have air relief valves in it. We do have
Right.
some. I know there are stretches of pipe where we never installed any. But there are some in the system. Obviously, they didn't do their job good enough.
do we know the system well enough now that we could, repressurize
zones.
one zone and then move on to another one, so we'd only be dealing with a couple of blow-offs?
Yeah, there is.
Would that be, because the only thing I can correlate it to is when we bring up like a switch or something that had been down for a while.
Yeah,
You had
that's
to bring
totally,
up
totally
power,
possible.
power first, and then there's just steps you had to go through, and you couldn't just turn it all back on,
Well, the
Yeah.
idea, the idea that I opted for was just a really, really slow fill. So the
Okay,
valve that was filling the system that depressurized was just, it was probably gonna take a 12-hour period before we had, usable pressure on that
Uh-huh.
side, and that still didn't work. So we did try, and I do know, anytime an aging infrastructure like we have, when you depressurize and you bring it back on, you always got leaks. There's no way around it.
Right,
That always
right.
happens, for 50, 60-year-old systems.
oh yeah, and all these miles and miles and miles of pipe. Okay, so it was just a thought that, you could do a section,
Yeah.
bring it up to snuff,
Mhm,
add another,
mhm, mhm.
and it would be labor intensive.
Right,
But do you think it would go better than,
Yeah, you can do it that way. I don't know. You could, I'd have to probably think about it for a while. You can
Yeah.
even do roads, you know.
this is
close
just
them
something
at
we're
the
throwing
road
out.
and just-
I don't think you guys did anything wrong. And I appreciate that y'all had to work through the night and we had pizza lunch. I bought pizza for them, so. So,
Yeah, thank you. That was awesome.
well, yeah, you guys really earned it. So, yeah, if you think that's something, if you found something, we don't know, because we're not operators. But if you found something or a better way to do something, I would
Yeah.
take your input and we could put it in the MOP.
Well, I think the biggest thing that if I could do it all differently, I would have isolated the leak quicker. You know, that was I think that was a big, I mean, an hour and a half and we pretty much depressurized the whole north side of the system.
Well, they were trying to get a hold of us,
Hindsight is 20/20.
always. So
So-
you can't,
So if we were in that
what-
situation again, it wouldn't happen the way that it did.
Yeah.
Guaranteed, it wouldn't happen because we have more of a.
Or you found valves you didn't know were there,
We found
for
valves.
example,
We have-
over
I have a
where it
better
goes across the
understanding.
highway.
yeah.
Just found some valves that had been buried and
Oh.
that we needed to shut off.
Well, and I knew they were over there and I'd already gone over there with a flashlight and I closed one of them and it still didn't stop. So I
Right.
went back, I closed the other one, it still didn't stop and I went,
I know,
I
we were
told-
on the phone and I'm like, it's still gushing.
and then I
It's
told
still
Jimmy, I
gushing.
said, hey, I closed the 2 valves over there. He goes, well, what about the third? I go, well.
What?
let's go look at
Third?
it." So we go back over there and we couldn't even find it for probably 15 to 20 minutes.
It sounds like Koi Creek, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, walking
Oh
up
my
and down
gosh.
Coy Creek barefoot
Under,
because I lost
under
my
2
shoes.
inches of asphalt.
Well, and as
Yeah.
soon as we put our key on that valve, you could just hear the water.
Yeah,
rushing
feel it
through.
vibrating.
Yeah, it was just rattling the key. So it was like, oh, this is the right one. Okay.
Hmm,
Wow.
it was effective. I can vouch for that because I didn't.
Well, I wonder
think-
if the master plan that we had last year shows those valves.
No wonder.
We paid for all that money for it. We should probably read it.
Yeah, we'll check it all out.
I'm kind of new, but I really appreciate what y'all did. I know it was stressful. And I think you handled it real well for what, I mean, how many times have you been through this before?
A couple times. I mean, not on this system, never the first time.
Yeah. So I thought y'all did pretty good.
I think they
Yeah.
did.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Thanks.
There's no way
Did our
that
best, I'm sure.
1 or 2 people can handle
Uh-uh.
all 600 people calling in. Well, 599, I didn't call it. I knew it was-
Or me, because I was figuring, oh, shit, they got water leak.
Yeah.
And it's
Stopped by a couple
past me.
times. I should have brought you pizza too.
No,
I
no,
apologize
no.
for
No,
that.
we made
Okay.
the
We were
next
fine.
week.
We were fine.
How's our,
That's what the community pays us to do. And honestly,
It's your job.
it's our job. So sometimes it rains, sometimes it
But you know
pours.
what? You can do your job and you can do it absolutely well. People don't give a rat's ass when you're doing it well. It's just when you got that one trouble. And
Right.
everybody wants to know
Yeah.
who you are.
Yep, yep.
So-
I seen a little bit of that.
You know, you're
Well,
talking about the
that's a good
community
report
forums a
about
while
you.
ago. A lot of people
People
turn it off too
thinking
because it just become,
you
it's
guys
become kind of
were
just
doing
a,
it.
Yeah, it's a bitch
Complain.
session.
it's just, yeah, exactly.
Well, somebody was throwing that pissy fit over the project with Goose Creek Electric,
Yeah.
the broadband. But they don't, well, it's costing twice what it did. And I'm reading that and I'm going, is that all? And this one gal said, they should do it. There's no reason we can't be on cellular and air power. And I'm like,
Huh.
do you have, I couldn't help myself because I'm a network expert, right?
Yeah.
Oh, God. She never did respond to me, by the
Oh, of
way.
course
She
not.
knew she didn't be.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wanted to make all these nasty, ugly poles go away. And what do you want to do for electricity?
Yeah,
You know, how are you gonna interface the hospital to the cell network? Being an expert, it's not gonna happen.
never, no. They
Yeah,
don't have
it's
enough
like-
space on the roof for that many.
And
users.
I said, do you realize it involves digging up every single street, every single site, because all the cables buried.
Yep.
Put it all underground, they'd have to dig up every single street.
Yeah.
House in the whole county.
Yep.
And I'm like, how can anybody be that rat stupid?
So you
Well,
picked
welcome
picked
to
up
Curry
on,
County,
Yeah, there's just some ignorant people. She's from Mad River. Maybe you should.
not even in
No,
Oregon.
she said she was. So, and I told her, I said, maybe you should go to Zipley.
Yeah.
Coos Curry and Spectrum and tell them about your plans for their infrastructure.
Yeah,
I was such,
You had a lot, with all the breaks and everything. Did you get a well depth and
There are
percentage
some
of loss?
stupid
Yeah, I
people
did. I
here,
got,
Mr. Wilson.
let's see here, where is it?
But I
It wasn't
couldn't let
that
that
bad,
go.
actually. It was surprising.
Uh-huh.
I thought we
Call
were
me
gonna
Joe,
be
you
like
don't want to
60%
call
loss
me.
rate.
My
That
truck's
makes
big.
me feel like, remember Dennis the Menace?
But I had my, but Mr. Wilson is dear to me. My truck was named Mr.
So we
Wilson.
pumped 4.4 and we sold 2.4.
Whoa,
With the meter wear of 10%, we had a loss of 34.27%. No,
but we had big leaks.
yeah,
We had a lot of it.
yeah, but we've been getting
That's
that
not bad
down
at all.
under the 20s. We've been under
Yeah.
the 20s.
Well, the
last
whole
couple
system
months.
was empty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
So-
getting to 34 isn't too bad, and we're still under like the red alert, I think 40, if anytime you have over 40%, it's like, okay, boots on the
Yeah,
ground.
but we ran almost a year with like 42% or something,
Yeah,
as you were just starting.
as
to
it
get your
was
feet.
spewing out over the top of Menasha tank.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an
I'm
interesting.
surprised we did.
And our well depth is what, about 17.6?
it was 15.9.
Oh,
Just came up.
really came up.
We got a lot of rain though.
Well, just in the last week.
Well, it might- it was
Yeah.
standing.
But I went up on my trail and
Anything.
kicked the dirt that much and
Anything
it's,
else?
and it's
Anything
dry
else?
underneath. It's gonna take a lot
Chat,
of
chat,
rain to
chat. Anything else?
penetrate.
Finish right.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
Just,
Okay.
next,
Maybe
next
not
week,
it.
next
Well,
month,
just
we need to
go
talk
on.
about, oh yeah, I
I
do have
did,
something
I
else.
covered it in
Potluck.
because I don't. know.
Oh, yeah, talk potluck.
All right.
I have things I have to
Just
fix.
wait for the ladies to finish here.
We're just talking about stuff that I have to fix before, get the accounts
Okay.
named properly so that, you don't see something that says building fund and just use that.
Rated, please.
And,
All upside down.
so we have a Nasika Beach over Water District potluck dinner that we're willing.
We
to-
do.
We're hosting, that's for, what do we pick? December
Nine,
ninth, that's a Friday.
at 5:30.
And Zach and Jimmy are invited, right?
Yes.
Yep,
Yeah, but
And
Jimmy won't
everybody's
be
bringing
coming.
good
Jimmy's
stuff.
not coming?
Jimmy's not gonna come
He
because he
can't.
doesn't wanna drive all the way back here. on
Well, like,
his
we
day
set
off.
it up so he could just come from work.
Well, it's his day off. He wouldn't.
Oh, it
be
is?
Oh,
working.
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's his day
okay.
off. So,
Darn.
For food, he doesn't want
But
to.
we accommodated Steve.
No, I
because
can
he's gone on
understand
the
that.
10th.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay,
trying
well,
to talk him into it.
yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell him ask him what his favorite beer is.
All right.
We can,
He
we'll.
probably
you
wouldn't
know,
wanna drink having to drive back to Port Orford.
Right.
No, we
No,
don't
he
have to
can
drink
sleep
alone.
he can sleep in his car
We
in
haven't-
Dave's driveway.
Yeah, we got next. Well, I would hope he'd bring his lady friend.
Yeah.
But anyway,
That's
so,
the idea behind this is so that
Yep.
everybody can know each other and Kara can make friends.
Are we done with our meeting? I should turn this off.
oh, yeah, sure. go
Yeah,
ahead, go ahead.
that's good there. Everybody
Yeah.
good?
So,
We're
so,
adjourned.
so, going back to the potluck, Julie,
8:22,
so have you
yes.
got input from everybody about what they want to bring?
No, not everybody
We've
yet.
got-